That was actually perfect timing. What's good with everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Locker Room. It shows with the most. My name is Gifted, and we're here. This is what is it? May 24th? Yeah, this is May 24th. This is on a Sunday. Salute to everyone. Happy Memorial's Day weekend. Obviously, no work for a lot of folks tomorrow. Thankfully, I'm one of those folks, and my PTO is officially up. I will be going back to work on Tuesday, but in today's episode, we will be talking all things playoff basketball and things of that nature. Currently, Wes is running a little bit late because of some, you know, things he had to handle, and Real Talk should probably be here soon. But we're here to talk some great hoops. I'm joined here with Derek. Derek, say hello to the people. I'm going to show your screen in a minute when you're ready.
Word, what's up, people? Yeah, taking some last minute notes. Yeah, let me throw the screen on real quick. They probably should do that. But yeah, it's been great hoops. Even though my team's out, and I think the worst case scenario for me as a fan is happening. But otherwise, it's been great hoops. So yeah,
Yes.
happy to be here.
Yes, and I'm going to quickly fix some I think I could just mute that. Okay, perfect. All right. So now my green screen is gone. Yeah, man. I first off want to say we have been streaming basketball pretty much every day. Shout out to Derek because he's been actively working for the entire playoffs. I also have been, but thankfully I had 2 weeks of PTO, which really came through clutch in the first and the second rounds, and even right now. So that's cool. But a lot's happened since our last episode. The second round of the playoffs is completely over. We're actually in the conference finals now, and it's been some great hoops. It's been some sad hoops, and it's been some embarrassing, devastating hoops as well, especially out east in the Eastern Conference. So we'll be breaking down pretty much everything from the third round. Also, I want to make sure that I have the chat pulled up here. So if there's any questions people have, we will be try to read all of them. That does include super chats. I don't like to hold y'all, but we be having some active conversations. Where would you like to begin? Just, you know what? As a whole, how would you talk about the 2026 playoffs, Derek?
I think they've been terrific. I'll start there because I'm sure we'll get into some nastiness. You let off with some disappointments. There's definitely a lot of adjectives to describe at least one team that's still in the playoffs. But overall, I think it's been terrific. We talked about it. One of the best first rounds we've seen in recent memory. I can certainly attest to that. I don't know how far I have to go back for a more entertaining set of first round matchups. And even though the second round had some flubs, I think overall it was still really productive. And yeah, I think this conference finals in a lot of ways has felt, at least one series has felt like a finals. So on one hand, that's cool. As a fan, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, overall, you really can't complain. Basketball wise, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, man. I would have to agree. Honestly, I think the first round was like easily one of the better overall playoff rounds, just in general. I think after this year is over, we should definitely do a tier list of like best first rounds for like the last maybe 20 years or something like that. I think it's up there for sure. I think the second round was a bit more, let's get past the fluff, because you had, I believe, the Lakers versus, I think, OKC. That was a complete sweep. You had the Sixers, unfortunately, versus the Knicks. That was a complete sweep. Like, a couple rounds in there were kind of filler, but overall, I've enjoyed the playoffs so far. I have.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the main talking points from both series. I think the good series ultimately in the West is coming down to some narrative talk and trying to take away from the good stuff. The other series, I think ultimately has just been a disappointment.
Yeah.
Especially from one team. I'm sure we can get into, is it good for basketball? that the Knicks are up 3-0 and their popularity's back. Maybe. But the Cavs, man, have just been pathetic. That I was thinking about it earlier today. I'm like, what word would I use to describe the Cavs? Pathetic is what I landed on. I am supremely disappointed in them.
Oh man,
and the showing. It's embarrassing, Gifted. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, no. I don't think there's any other way. I think we only watched one game. I think the one game we watched was the Brunson game, right?
Leave this up. Yeah.
I think we watched that game first. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched that. Yeah, that's game one. And that was I still can't really rack my brain how terrible that was. Like execution, I really should say. That's what killed me. It's like Brunson's making all these shots. It's incredible, but you're really not paying any mind to it. You're like, why is he able to go at Harden all this time? Harden's getting flambéed. Like, why can't they execute on the other end? I'm just watching befuddled. And then the rest of the series goes on, and it's just kind of like, again, late collapse is definitely not as bad as game one, but still just befuddling. Last night ended with Mike Breen and company having to say the Cavs just gave up on that possession. And then I can't remember if it was RJ said, no, they actually gave up the possession before that. It's like you're in the conference finals.
Right, man.
You are as close to the crown jewel of your sport and potentially your biggest payday. And we're giving up on possessions. Like, again, I asked this question when we were on stream in game one. Where is your pride? And had the same exact question for game three. And what's good, Wes? Welcome.
Well, I quickly want to introduce my boy Wes, looking colorful. What's good with you, my dog? How you doing this morning, man? Oh shit, we can't hear you, Wes.
He is in fact muted. Or we got him muted.
I don't think he's muted. I think his microphone might be different.
Yep.
We are not for sure.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I was saying, seen better morning, seen worse. Just glad to be able to get here and try to do this. I have no lighting right now.
Better than mine.
Maybe I can adjust that, but yeah, man, I'm here. Chilling. How are you fellas?
Good, man. I have barely been getting much rest, thankfully, because last night was so embarrassing. I got the most rest I've gotten in some time, so that was really, really good. But excited to be talking about hoops, especially with some things and some shifts and how quickly the narratives are changing off one game of playoff basketball. I want to add on to what Derek said, right? Where is the pride? And I'm pretty sure we all felt the same way, ironically, about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Like year in, year out, they are the team that literally is a good team. They're pretty good in the regular season. They're going to be top 4 or top 5. But at the end of the day, if I put a gun to the back of your head and said, do you trust this team? We're all probably saying no. And even with the James Harden trade, yes, they went to a conference finals. It took them 14 games to get there. And I think the blowback from that is showing in this conference finals. I think what we love about this time, especially West, is like, this is where we find out what teams are made of. This is where you find out what players are made of. And more importantly, this is where the must-win plays that don't show up in the box score show the most. And we're seeing the Cavs fail to execute in all of those areas.
Yeah, I picked the Knicks in 6, so I was expecting, I guess a bit of a letdown from Cleveland for anybody who may have thought they could get all the way to the finals. But yeah, this has been especially disappointing. Going down 3-0 and just completely being outplayed. And the fact that there's no pride from the last time they played. And like, oh, nah, we got to make up for what happened 2 years ago. We got to atone for that. They look too laissez-faire, man. They look too casual. They seem to be okay with however the series goes. And it's kind of unfair to some of the players for sure because I don't think that's the temperament of the entire team. But yeah, man, it looks like all right. Well, we made it this far. Tough didn't work out. All right, on to next year, and doing stuff like that and having an attitude like that, I just think speaks to the character of the guys, and why they haven't accomplished more. Because they're a very talented team, man. They have even with Darius Garland had one of the best starting fives. Now you replace him with James Harden, who most people think is better. So still have a really good starting five. And they have depth. They have players who can contribute off the bench. They have shooting. They have every single thing you would like outside of like elite POA. But that's on their stars, you know. And when your backcourt is D-Mention Harden or D-Mention Garland, you're kind of positioning yourself to lack in that area. But you have two guys on the back end who can make up for that. And Mobley, former DPOY, Allen, solid defender. And then obviously they've been playing with Dean Wade this year, who is a good defender. So it's just unfortunate to see how things have, played out for him. But I I'm happy. I'm happy because I want to see a lot of movement in this offseason. I know I read a report that the Cavs, no matter what, they're looking to re-sign Harden. But I feel like that maybe there's some hope that it could go differently. Like, and maybe it's not that. Maybe they say, all right, we've had enough of Mobley. I don't know, but I just want to see a lot of things being shaken up this offseason. Obviously, you all know how I feel about Boston and me thinking it's time to move on from Jaylen Brown, and seeing what's out there, seeing if you can land Giannis in a 3-team, whatever. But yeah, I think there's time for musical chairs in the NBA, and I'm glad that the Cavs are kind of falling on their face. And salute to the Knicks. They have been doubted a lot. Excuse me, the organization was kind of clown for how many picks and how many assets they gave up when they flamed out last year to Indiana. And the organization said, hey, we're going to let cooler heads prevail. We'll make a coaching change, one that I thought was a home run. I love Mike Brown. I think the world of him. I think he's a really good coach. And I think he's putting that on full display. They added more depth to the roster this year as well, and
Yeah.
we see what's happening.
I'll let Derek attack that part of it first.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree as far as I feel like we've been saying this and it's kind of happened every offseason for the last few years is that it's going to be a big offseason. It's going to be a lot of movement. And I do think that's going to be true, especially with this expansion kind of looming. I think a lot of teams need to shift into gear. And, this was a great postseason for a few teams to be like, wow, this is what we are. We're not really ready for that. And credit to the Knicks because I'm sure I'm going to have something, not so nice to say. I'll get the nice stuff out of the way now. Fully agree with the Mike Brown stuff. I think he has been in some unfortunate situations in playoff situations with teams where his teams tend to overachieve and then they look bad, in the public eye. But realistically, they were a good team to a point. They just couldn't, get over that last hurdle. This team definitely has the potential to do that. This depth has been incredible. They've had a very active and in-tuned front office where they've looked to plug any holes they feel like exist. And Wes's point, they did get clowned for going all in on Mikal Bridges, the OG Anunoby trade, and subsequent extension. Does he play enough for all that to happen? And look, we said it before the playoffs started this year. You have to play the games. It's not a cakewalk for the Celtics.
Yes.
Detroit's the number 1 seed, but we don't they still have to play the games. They got to prove themselves. You got to play the games, and I get it. It will be said, and we'll say it right here up top. The East is weaker than the West. It has been for some time. It's unfortunate, but this is a pathway to the finals. And I think on one hand, it does make it interesting that any team kind of had a fair shot. The Cavs did have a chance. they went belly up at the wrong time, and the Knicks, to their credit, have been playing their game plan, and it's been pretty incredible, I got to say. So before I get into individual players, respect to that. And then, as far as I just don't want to diss the East as a whole. There is some good basketball being played here. It's just messier, I think, is really the word that it boils down to. And this Eastern Conference Final Series definitely shows that. It is just a hot mess right now.
See, I like this part of the conversations. I want to go back real quick to what my man Wes also just said. In terms of movement, we have said, oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I genuinely feel like this is the year where all of those talks come to real fruition based on the names that are at stake, the cap stuff, and more importantly, this is the most underrated part of it. The fact where the NBA as a whole, the draft is going to change, where the odds might completely flatten. I think teams are going to try to dump as much as they can right now before that new era comes in. Because once that happens, the way we look at draft picks are going to forever be different. Now we don't care how bad of a team you are, it's going to basically be the same. So the value of an unprotected pick is going to actually be crazy because now you don't have to rely on the team being bad to get the number 1 or 2 or 3 pick because everyone has the same odds, right? So that changes the value of picks, which also will probably change how safely teams want to move with that. That changes what the actual meaning of, I think, desperation is for these teams, right? I think when you look at all these teams, we also have to be safe because people love to say, blow it up. I promise you, Derek, that phrase, blow it up, is more popular in the playoffs than any other time in the regular season. And if we're being honest, I had a conversation yesterday with RT. We were talking about it. It's like, yeah, the Cavs traded for James Harden. Did they win the finals? No. Will they win a game? I don't know. But they made a conference finals, and it's Cleveland. Like, Cleveland has not made the conference finals since LeBron James. And maybe there's just some things you have to tweak around it. But if we're being honest, what team outside of maybe the 95 Rockets have made a trade for a star at the deadline and then won the title? Like, he hasn't even had a full season to really integrate, I think, with the team. So it's some fair bail. I think you can shoot the Cavs. However, I think what's really annoying us is the infrastructure and framework of that team has been flawed for some time now. I think, to Wes's point, yes, they have guys who can do things, but some of it is very limited. They don't have a elite POA. They don't have a true wing who can be a hybrid of what the guards do and the bigs do. It's Dean Wade, who's cool, but like he's not like some, I would say, OG Anunoby type, right? Like they still need something to complete that roster. And I think what we're seeing more than anything else are the limitations of Donovan Mitchell as your best player trying to win a title. I think Evan Mobley has not been really utilized much. I mean, shoot, in game 2, Derek, he had 14 points at the half, and he finished with 14 with no extra shots. Like, that to me is coaching. I think also allowing James Harden to be fish food for an entire fourth quarter, and you just make no adjustment. You have 4 timeouts, Wes. 4 timeouts, no adjustment. There's a lot of things this team has to do better. And I think that's just one team of, I think, the full overall 16. It's a lot right now in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I feel your point about not like blowing it up completely. I do think the iteration of D. Mitch, Mobley, Allen, another one of those players has to go. Obviously, D. Mitch probably can't be the one to go, right? So I think it comes down to Allen or Mobley. I'm a fan of Mobley. I'm not in like the camp of move him for Giannis, but as an organization, if they're committed to D. Mitch and Harden, then you're committed to a timeline that doesn't even coincide with Mobley's for real.
Right.
And if there's a big fish on the market, which it seems like there is for sure, hey, teams have done worse. Teams have done worse things. Because as good as Mobley is, I don't think he'll ever be even 33-year-old Giannis,
No.
So, it's they've got a lot to think about for sure. But yeah, man, I guess I'm more so like on, just giving the Knicks praise because I did not expect them to be this good. And maybe Cleveland is that bad, but still, you got to capitalize when you get opportunities to go do what may seem unthinkable. And the Knicks are capitalizing. The East was going to be open this year. I think they were one of the favorites to come out the East this year. It broke kind of, I'll say it really didn't break in their favor in the regular season the way that we thought. Detroit was better. Boston was better. And somehow when it got to the playoffs in May and June, they said, hey, we'll handle that. Don't worry about it. So salute to them.
Yeah.
I feel like for the Cavs, just to like, we'll probably just dunk on them real quick since like we've got more to talk about with the other three teams.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Like the problem for the Cavs always ends up being some kind of like health concern. I think to go off of what Wes just said, I agree with most of the points. I don't think D-Mitch is untouchable though. I don't think D-Mitch is this rock who has to stay in place. I think if you're looking at this team, I'm not going to use the phrase blow it up, but I don't think Cleveland is built for the long haul as it is present. Harden's 36. You took this shot in Harden this year because to me, you felt the East was most open this year. Next year, we suspect Harden should be relatively good. He's defied age like a handful of stars have. But he shouldn't be any better than he was this year. And then even if he repeats what he did this year, verbatim, you still have the same playoff problems. You still have that wing issue. Jalen Tyson was a really cool player in the regular season, super young. Maybe he can turn into that wing. Didn't really have the chance this year. Maybe Dean Wade improves, but he might not be back. There's a lot of questions here. My thing for Cleveland is like, if you really think this is the ceiling of the team, if you really think Donovan Mitchell has just hit a wall where he can be a really good second option, but he just can't be your team's best player, I don't think it's crazy to kind of reconfigure this team. Move off of D-Mitch and look into another direction. You can re-sign Harden for, a year or two more, like, a year in team option type deal. And then you can still be really good next season, but you'll be on the younger side of things. Maybe cater a little bit more to like the Mobley timeline and just the future. Allen's stuck being the in-betweener where it's like he's a good player, just not a great playoff player, or just not a great player. You can do either way. Like he's 27, so he can fit the timeline to be cool for another 3 years. That's pretty realistic, or move off of him now. I think Cleveland's just in a really trying time right this second. But I don't think anyone's untouchable on that team. Whether it's, superstar hunting or just reset your timeline a little bit. And then, of course, it's the Bron stuff, which that's crazy speculation. I'm not really going to touch it right now. But, if Bron was to come back to Cleveland, obviously, changes things. But, yeah, I just feel like this team has been the most disappointing of the four to make the conference finals. So it makes the East look worse. But, again, there were other teams in this conference that had their shot and just came up short. So I'm not going to say the Cavs season was a failure. You broke through, you got to the conference finals. You have a good squad here. Kenny Atkinson did coach a good regular season team. So I'm also not out on just Atkinson fire immediately. It's just the way you fell apart in this series in particular is where, this is where all these questions come up. Because now you're just terrified looking at how bad this went.
Whoo! I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel really dirty saying this, chat, and I will be reading the latest overall super chat in a minute. I gotta say this though, man. Donovan Mitchell is untouchable, and it's not because I think he should be from a basketball viewpoint. I think Cleveland dead ass views him as untouchable. I think Cleveland wants to build the team around Donovan Mitchell, and do I think that's the right play? No, I just don't think he is that great of a player. I think we've seen his flaws and his overall limitations, but everything they've done speaks to me that they're trying to build a team around Donovan Mitchell. He is their guy. He's going to probably not leave, actually, because remember, if he plays out one more year, Derek, he'll be contract eligible for a $400 million supermax. So he's probably going to stay to try to test the waters with that at least one more season, right? And I think we both know what our answers are to are we giving him that max? It's probably no, right, Derek?
It's probably no. I think that the problem with that money, and as insane as that contract sounds, is we haven't seen anybody sign like this enormous north of $300 million, $400 million deal yet. So once someone does it, just like the first $100 million guy, the first $200 million guy, we just have to get our brains accustomed to it. But it seems that's the reality we're going to, is one of these superstars will get obscene money. And we're going to be like, okay, like if Shea, Wemby, Jokic, Luka, if one of them got the money, we'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And then eventually we're just going to kind of get used to, you know, the next crop of stars being like, okay, they're getting obscene money. We'll just have to live with it. That's just how the sport goes. So once we get there, I'm sure it'll still look nasty, but yeah.
I think that's true, Derek. I do just want to point out though, like, while it is true, cap hold is what matters more. And I'm just assuming if he's going to be the highest paid player in the league, he's going to probably also have the highest cap hit. And,
yeah,
you know, if you're pouring that much into Donovan Mitchell on a roster that is clearly flawed as it is, I don't know about the upside of that. As
well, that's what I'm saying. He's not untouchable gifted. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think you ran it this year. I think you go in on Harden because, let's face it, as bad as Harden's reputation was, it was better than Garland's come playoff time. Like, if you really just said, okay, I have to choose between one of these players right this second to win a chip, or at least make it there, which I think it was everyone's ultimate goal, you would have taken Harden. I would have taken Harden. Like, you get one season to ride. Harden, Garland, who's going to like run your offense, get me there. It's going to be, I'm picking James. So I don't fault the Cavs for that line of thinking. But to say that D Mitch is untouchable because they've catered the roster to him a little bit, I just don't think teams are wired to do that. I think they could totally move off of him because you have Mobley, who, you know, a former DPOY, only 24 years old. He might have hit his ceiling. I think both of us kind of are leaning
crazy
towards,
to
like,
say, but it is possible.
It's possible. I mean, like, ceiling as far as like raw production, possibly. You know, maybe he gets more savvy as a player. That always happens. But, you know, he might just be a star, not a superstar, right? So either way, you can still work with that player moving forward. Like, to me, it's like that's not the player I'm like, okay, I have to get off of him to keep building around D Mitch, who's my age and is on the wrong side as far as undersized guards are concerned. As good as he is, it's just he should not be getting any better. So it's just, you have to have like the hard look of like, okay, is this going to be the future? Rocking with D Mitch. It doesn't have to be. Utah made that decision a long time ago. It wasn't for them either. So it's not like he's untouchable. Like, this is just a player you can't break.
He kind of said he wanted to go in Utah. I think if D Mitch said I'm committed to Utah, I think they would have kept him.
I think so too.
I disagree.
I think so.
You're
too,
forgetting you forgot who took over the reins over there in Utah, because they also shipped off their DPOY.
Hey, valid.
But I think that was, hey, we've capped. But also D Mitch saying, y'all don't really want to be here anymore. Because even when Ainge took over, I think if D Mitch says, I'm committed to this, I think he does other things to try to build around. And maybe Rudy still gets moved, maybe he doesn't. Because they got a king's ransom for Rudy. But at the same time, it's like with D Mitch, after that season where they lost to, I think it was Dallas.
I think it was Dallas, yeah. Which like I do want to point out real quick. People forget Jalen Brunson was on that team. There was no Luka, and they still got dominated. So this is not new to Jalen Brunson in terms of dogging out Donovan Mitchell. But you can go on.
It's belt boys when he sees D Mitch. But to that point, after that season, D Mitch was like, "Yo, I don't really want to be here anymore. I don't see a long term future. I'm ready to move on." And I think if he doesn't, maybe just maybe, Ainge is like, "All right, well, let's see how we can rebuild it around him." But Derek still may be right. I don't think he's an Ainge guy in terms of like the typical player Ainge would be stoked to have.
That's fair.
Small guard, can't defend. And we've seen like although Ainge did add some, when he was in Boston, he did it. He was rocking with guys who we could say, yeah, life could be worse, if he had D Mitch, because some of those Boston teams, like if he had D Mitch instead of like when Isaiah was up, I guarantee you he pays D Mitch. When he had IT up for a contract, same
Mm.
scenario, I guarantee he pays D Mitch. So, but I don't want to belabor that point. I definitely agree with Derek though on the Cavs committing to D Mitch and Gifted. Like both of you all said it. I think it's a mistake, but if you're going to make that decision, that's why I say you kind of end up in a position where I'm trying to plunge and get Giannis at
Right.
this point. If that's what we're on, get Giannis. He apparently wants to stay East, wants to continue to contend for a championship. Okay. It's between and if I'm Cleveland, I'm looking at it like this. If we don't get him, Boston gets him. Whatever it takes. I I,
That's a
I
good
think
point.
you
That's a good
gotta
point
get
too.
in that
Yeah.
that headspace. So that's my 2 cents on it.
But like Wes, the sick part about this is I don't think they realize if you trade for Giannis, technically speaking, you're not building around Donovan Mitchell anymore. Like your guy is Giannis because he will be the best player on the team, technically
Yeah.
speaking. You know,
But I think D Mitch he'll complement Giannis well.
yeah,
So but I feel your point. Like, yeah, it's this the minute you make the pivot, getting a guy who's better than D Mitch, it's no longer about D Mitch in a sense. But you can still say it is because it's kind of like OKC and Russ. Obviously, when we traded for PG, Russ was a better player, right? But by 2019, bro, PG was better, bro. Like PG had an ascension, and again, we could credit a lot of that to Russ. And it's not apples to apples with the Mitch situation, but
yeah.
from an organizational standpoint, if I have a player who I covet and I want to give him the best opportunity to win, whether he's the head guy or whether he's a supporting character, yo, are we trying to win or not? And I think for D Mitch, it'll be interesting to see if he responds well to that or not.
I don't know. I think this whole team has to be has to put their feet to the fire here because there's just been no life at the end of these games. It's like part of it is their heart kind of got ripped out at the end of game one. I get that, but you've had a chance now at home to try and redeem yourself, and you just have rolled over. Like going into a game four down 3-0, it's one thing for a team to mentally be out of it, but you looked mentally out of it at the end of game one before the L itself.
You did.
That's why it's nothing safe for me in Cleveland. I think this is cool. That again, I don't want to downplay making a conference finals. I do think this is a solid team. I just don't think anything is safe. Like anything could come off the walls here, and part of this remodel because running it back just does. I just don't know how you could do that with in good confidence next season. If you just said, oh, well, we've got the pieces. We were good enough to be, a 50-win team. We can make the playoffs again. We could be right back here. It's like, okay, but right back here is getting swept badly. It looks like we shouldn't be here. That's not the kind of team you got to go back in to next season feeling reloaded, So I don't know. I've been so disappointed. Harden got up to Harden things, but man, Gifted, we talked about after that game one, I'd be looking sideways at everybody in that locker room, coaching staff included,
That's
or
what
at
I'm
least
saying.
Atkinson. Yeah, I think that's just part of the problem. It's just there's no trust right now. Like, you don't have Harden's back. You're letting him get cooked on an island. There's no communication on the back line. I don't know what is going on with their offense, because that was the other thing. Like, they were just funked. Like, they could not break a thing. They couldn't execute at all. 22-point lead, and you couldn't execute. I don't know. Nothing safe. Nothing safe there for me.
I definitely feel like if I'm in charge of the Cavs, nothing is safe. I'm just saying the reality of that front office speaks to me that they don't view it that way. I think they might see it and say, you know what, we got better. And here's my thing, right? This is very comparable to the Hawks going to the conference finals. And it's like, yeah, you made it here, correct. But this was a down year for the Eastern Conference. Like, next year, we know the Pacers are going to be back. The Heat or the Celtics, one of those teams is going to make a very big swing this, I would say, offseason. And teams as a whole are going to get better. My thing with the Cavs is this idea that they were this. Yes. I think Miami's in that boat for sure. They have the contracts at the very least. I know we've been pump fake 1,000 times, Wes. I know.
No
and like,
way, bro. No
I
way.
probably shouldn't fall for it, Wes.
Like,
I'm just putting it out there. I don't know, but I'm gonna say this much, right? This was a down year for the East, and without the players getting better as one thing, I think the flaws in this Cavs roster have to be addressed if you're not going to trade one of those pieces. And unfortunately, they're the highest payroll in the NBA. So what move are you going to make to like improve the bench, add a super dynamic wing, add a elite overall POA without trading a big piece to make that move happen? Like, it's just not really real to me. I don't know what you do.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying nothing's safe, because you have to look at this cap sheet and look at your next 3 years. Because I agree, like, going all in, again, if you disagreed with the Harden move at the time, that's fine. But Harden was the more win now move, because you felt like this was your window. And then you just figured out next year. That's how, to me, Cleveland operated, thinking that way. Next season, you could run it back, and I think you'd be okay. But I agree, the Pacers should be at least a far better team than they were this year. Celtics should be healthier and just straight up better, regardless if a Giannis move happens anyway. They could just fill their bench with better depth, and Tatum's healthy. That could just be worse by itself. And then, yeah, I mean, the whole Giannis situation also floats. Like, if he goes to the Heat, are they any good? Whatever. So, yeah, I feel like, to me, you have to operate like, in the East right now, there's no proven champ, literally, right? But there's no, like, absolutely they're going to dog walk us, because we don't know if JB is going to be there long term for the Celtics. Like, they're the closest thing to that. So to me, every year is competitive in the East. It's just a matter of how long do you want to stay competitive? Do you really think this is a window? Right now, This team basically said, this is not a window. We're not serious. That's what they told you in this series presently. So if you make, for instance, Jared Allen would be the first name on the chopping block, right? You bring back your guards, you keep the younger, potentially better star, at least long term. In Mobley, you move Jared Allen for like 2 pieces. To me, that gets you another like possibly starting caliber wing and maybe some picks. That's great. But you already have like 3 of those wings. You just wish that you could morph into one body. It's like, is that really the improvement? Is Mobley at the 5 full time now the move? That's to me the first obvious change they're going to attempt. Okay, Mobley, yeah. It's been real. You got to do a little Anthony Davis impression, but just like AD, you got to come, to a reality. You need to be a 5. Mm-hmm. We need more spacing. We need better offense. Go out there and be a man. You'll get paid like one. That to me is the first realistic conclusion they will reach. Okay. Is move off of Allen. Allen could become a Laker for all I know. Replace DeAndre. That sounds great. And that like there'll definitely be suitors for Jared Allen. So that to me makes the most sense, but I still don't know if I would be like super confident going into next season, just off of what they did this series, man. This series really just took any light I had about the Cavs completely out of it.
Yeah, I heard you say earlier that like you're not sure if you're off of the Kenny Atkinson stuff, and I understand like firing your head coach is a very common thing that happens in the NBA now, and I'm trying not to fall for it, but I'm telling you, the shit that Kenny Atkinson did in that game 1, I don't think you can win with that. And like I know there could be like a better team, better roster construction, all this stuff. I hear you, but it's like if a serious change to the roster is not made, do I trust Kenny to like raise the ceiling? Because he's a floor raising coach. I think he has shown that he can be a high floor coach. But in terms of like what you need, like this Cavs roster wasn't that far away in game 1 to make it a winnable game. In game 2, again, they were in the game for most of the game, but couldn't get it down the stretch. And then game 3 was just overall belt's ass, right? I think that Evan Mobley being your 5 makes more sense for modern NBA. But do we trust Evan Mobley to be at that position? And more importantly, again, who are the wings coming to this roster? Because I promise you, Dean Wade is your starter on a team that's trying to win a championship is not moving anybody.
Right. I mean, let me ask the both of you real quick to that point. Wes, you said you had the Knicks in 6. When making that pick, did coaching really factor in for you?
Not to the degree that like, I think Mike Brown is just gonna outcoach Kenny or coach circles around him. It wasn't to that extent. What it did do for me is, hey, I have confidence in both coaches' ability to, develop a good game plan. I think more than anything for me, it was, I think the Knicks are a better roster, and I just trust the Knicks players more, bro. Like, it's sad to say, but I'm at a point where I trust Cap more than I trust Harden. I'm at a point where I trust, well, I mean, it should be this way, but I trust JB more than I trust, what's his name? D. Mitch. So give me a second. You fellas know I'm.
Yeah, you're good. No,
Sure.
I wanted to ask that question. I'm presuming you're kind of at the same conclusion. The reason you pick the Knicks in this series walking into it is because of the team, not just because of the coach. So firing Atkinson, which again, like he made some fireable decisions damn near in this series. But what does that really do for you? Like they had a fantastic offense all this year. Not saying it should fall off a cliff, but like there's something to that.
True.
That you can't. You still need something to kind of come in. So whoever you bring in coach wise, if you were to fire Atkinson, you are not setting them up for success because we don't believe in the roster. So that's my main thing. To me, if you said, okay, I've got the Cavs. Okay. If you had the Cavs going to the finals and losing to OKC, the presumed favorite, no one would bat an eye at that loss because OKC's the best team in the league.
Right.
But them losing in the East anytime prior to that, to me, is an indictment more of the roster than it is the coach. So that's why it's like, to me, Atkinson's safe by default because it just makes no sense to throw in somebody else in this situation when it's clearly the roster stuff is what we're concerned with. Like at the end of the day, real quick before like we inevitably have to pivot here, like watching that absolute flambe of Harden. Woo. We were upset because Atkinson didn't call a timeout, which is a terrible offense. Did not make any sense.
He didn't do anything.
Discussed, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything.
But to that point, let's pretend there was no one on the sideline for a second. Pretend you're just playing ball, as you do. And it's like there's no coach on the sideline. Your teammates, the other 4 guys on the floor, are supposed to have your back.
Bullshitting. That is true.
That is true. That's the thing.
Yeah.
This isn't AU. This isn't high school. This isn't college. These are professionals who have played at the highest level that are with their own eyes watching their teammate get absolutely cooked and they're losing the game right before them. No one stepped up. So if you want to, like, that's the thing. I can put the lack of ATOs, the lack of stopping a run, trying to like halt momentum. That's on Atkinson. But just not having your teammates back, just allowing a switch. Dean Wade I guess I have to follow Mikal Bridges now. And just allowing the switch possession after possession after possession. That's not on Kenny. Okay. we can pretend that's on Kenny. That's really not at the end of the day. A player's got to step up.
I got a question for you real quick. And I'm going to read the DZ chat right out of this because it ties in great here, right? Here's my thing. In certain locker rooms, a lot of the tenor of the locker room is predicated on the best player and the culture in terms of what the accountability is overall. And that starts with your best player for sure, but the coaching staff beyond even that coach, like someone in leadership has to set that tone. And I think for the team to look like they were disconnected and just allowing what happened happen, to me, that speaks to a bigger disconnect, bigger than the player. I think that speaks to the current culture you have in place, and your head coach is supposed to be a part of that. And it's like, if you're not calling timeouts and you're just saying go, to me, it seemed like they were fine with the plan Kenny had, and they just said, cool. Like, it's okay if Harden gets fried. We're okay with that. And if you're okay with that, to me, that speaks to not just the players, but like both of them in step. I think both have to change realistically. So like, that's why I would say I still wouldn't say he's safe, because to me, everything has to change. Everything. I don't think you can win with either of those things still on the roster next year. I don't know.
I'll say that in conclusion before we get to the chat portion is, with that sentiment in mind, to me, that means D-Mitch has to go. Because if D-Mitch has been your best player, which I think we'd all agree he is, and has been for the Cavs for some time, if you feel like that has to change, then D-Mitch, in a sense, is a root of the problem, if not the main root. So then by that logic, he has to go.
I'm okay
if
with
you
that.
move D-Mitch, though, everything is upended. Now it's moved.
That's what Gifted saying,
to
Wes.
rebuild around Mobley.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know, rebuild. Whoa. I ain't say that.
I think, but to Gifted's point, he's saying it's a Kenny and a player thing. So, and I agree. Like, to me, D-Mitch just needs to be held accountable. Like, this series is just as much on him and the failure that it has been as much as anybody else. I mean, Harden's an easy blame. Kenny's an easy blame. You know, Mobley and Allen forgetting how to score for quarters is like they got to blame. But D-Mitch shot selection, D-Mitch just also being a matador on defense, like, he has to be held accountable in the same vein. And if you're talking about like responsibility, accountability, you know, lead by example, D-Mitch is right there. So by that logic, to me, it's saying that he has to go too.
Nah, I think if you move D-Mitch, you are starting over. That's it. I don't think you move D-Mitch and get better. I think you put. It's possible, but it's like, who would sign up to go to Cleveland to replace D-Mitch instead of play with D-Mitch? So it's like, it's funny though. I floated out a while ago. We didn't talk about it, but I was speaking to. I think both of you all know Yemi, Boston Celtics fan.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, all right, that D-Mitch for JB trade is coming.
And see, I like what Wes. I'm sorry, real quick. I love you said that, because in the super chat we actually have someone who commented on that, asking, do you think Boston would entertain a Jaylen Brown, D-Mitch, or Mobley trade? That was his question right there, Wes.
The Mobley, yes. I could see that. I think it may seem crazy. I think if they could get Mobley for Jaylen Brown, they do it in a heartbeat. Cheaper, younger. Cheaper, younger, and since he's cheaper, I mean considerably cheaper. I think he's like like $20 million cheaper. So, because Mobley's making around 40, JB's coming up on 60. So I think in doing that, you bolster your defense, your rim pro. You have a real five. They can hold the fort down with Tatum playing the 4, Mobley playing the 5. And then I think you could get another, small little piece in there. And obviously other moving parts take place. But I think they could do some things to bolster their backcourt or, wing depth. If they make a trade like that, I think it's easier to find another wing who may not be able to be JB, but can approximate some of that value you'll lose. And I think their whole play style would potentially change, like ever so slightly, although Joe Mazzulla is an interesting guy, to say the least. So maybe not too much changes, but I will say for that, and before I pass the ball, like D-Mitch for JB, I ain't gonna hold you. I think Boston loses that trade, but maybe it's something they entertain. I think you get worse defensively, and for everything that D Mitch is capable of doing offensively, I think in the grand scheme of things, Brad, D Mitch constantly just he underwhelms in the passing. Though he's capable of making passes that Jaylen Brown doesn't, he still has the same tunnel vision. So I don't think it's actually aiding his teams that much. And I don't know if, how much of that would change in Boston, maybe a lot because of their play style. But a guy who takes a lot of bad shots, one of the teams I would never want to see them on is Boston because they're going to encourage them to take a lot more bad shots. Just, hey,
Yeah.
jack up the threes, man. You take 7 a game. Go to 10. We can live with it, man. You're a capable shooter. You're one of the best pull-up jump shooters in the world. So I don't know, but what's good, real talk?
What's up? What's up? How everybody doing?
What's good, Brody? Good morning. Good morning. We are currently talking about the Cavaliers' demise and their roster construction, and then someone asked about a Jaylen Brown trade with Cleveland. I just want to point out, Wes, I think Cleveland loses any trade they do with Boston, if I'm being real with you. I don't think Jaylen Brown and I think Donovan Mitchell moves me. I think trading Evan Mobley for Jaylen Brown is a horrific trade as well for Cleveland. I just don't see what lens they win in any aspect with Boston. You ask me. I just don't see it.
Oh, you think Boston wins a D Mitch for JB trade?
Oh, I don't think that's a hilarious question. I don't think they get better with Donovan Mitchell for Jaylen Brown. I think that's more so of a lateral move. I think their whole identity in terms of like how they want to guard changes completely. I do think there's some areas where Donovan might be a better pairing offensively with Tatum because of the threes and whatnot, maybe. But I just don't think it. I don't think it moves a needle. I think if Evan Mobley is in Boston with Jason Tatum, that makes a lot of sense. But that's why I don't think the Cavs at all should do that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I think the Mobley thing is a win for Boston. I think the Mitchell thing,
Yeah.
neutral at best, I'll say. Yeah. So, but sad Cleveland, man. Sad in Cleveland.
Yeah,
Any
should
thoughts,
we
Real
use this
Talk?
time to? Well, yeah, I was gonna say. I figure Real Talk wants to talk about his Knicks. But yeah, any thoughts on Cleveland before we get to New York?
They should run it back. This conversation with Gifted
Yeah.
last night. Some of these franchises, man. I mean, you're Cleveland. Look, you have a good perennial playoff team. Donovan Mitchell is a top 15 to 20 player in the world. You have a good two-way player in Evan Mobley. Jared Allen has proven himself to be a solid center, even in the playoffs now. He's having a really good playoff run. Run it back, man. Everybody's not going to be winning a championship in the league. You're in the Eastern Conference Finals. James Harden is back. The last win now move you did was James Harden. Look how that turned out for you. Just run it back. Now, if you could trade James Harden for maybe a younger guard, I could see them doing that. But other than that, like, yeah, man, it's not your time right now. Donovan Mitchell's your best player. It's probably not your time right now. It is what it is.
Well, but will it ever be their time? If Donovan Mitchell is their best player?
They had their time when they drafted LeBron.
You
It's
know what
Cleveland.
I'm
Like, I
saying.
don't
For this
understand. Like,
iteration of the team, I mean, regardless of the market and the name, like they still have an obligation to their fans to try to
they have a
fill out
perennial
the best
playoff
roster.
team.
All right, man.
What I'm
Okay,
saying
I
is,
see
like,
what
some
time
of
this
these
is.
places, like, that is good enough for some of these markets. When Utah was perennially in the playoffs, that fan base was hippie right? When they went from John Stockton and Karl Malone to Carlos Boozer and Darren Williams, Like some of these markets, in my opinion, you're not. All of them aren't shooting just like to win a championship. They'll take those playoff bonus checks and call it a day. It's a business at the end of the day. I'm not going to blow up. If I'm Cleveland, I'm not blowing up a playoff team when Cleveland may not have another playoff team in a while. If they do so, they have to hit on every move if they want to. If they want to do that, it's really hard going from a really good team to a great team. Your effort in the margins has to be perfect. Has to be really good, and so I would rather keep a really good team than blow it up for I don't know what.
I mean, well,
In my opinion,
I agree with the blowing it up standpoint. I think we were speaking on like potential ways that they could get better. And you're saying just staying pat, like you wouldn't explore getting better if it
as
means
if you could trade
moving one of
James
their.
Harden, but
Yeah,
I'm not
I
getting
mean,
rid of
but if
Mobley.
it's
I'm not getting rid of D. Mitch. I'm not getting rid of Allen. For what?
oh gosh, not getting rid of Allen.
But for who?
I'm saying so for Mobley playing the 5
I don't like
and
Mobley as a full-time 5. I don't like that.
it depends on who you support him with as a 4. If you have the right 4 to support him, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I think
What's the
it could
right
make the
4?
team better. I mean, the answer to that, I don't know. We're spitballing here.
Yeah, that's market.
Maybe
What's the
they can
archetype?
do it.
What is a player like that you're looking at?
Probably a
A
4 that can
player
shoot.
similar, like yeah, I was gonna say a player similar to the best possible outcome is like an Aaron Gordon. Um, Lesser outcomes, the best versions of like the PJ Washingtons of the world, the best
Yeah.
versions of even heck
Too slim.
Dean Wade prior to not being able to shoot at all, and being
still too
shy to
slim.
shoot. Dean Wade made a lot of sense as actually their best stretch. I think the best basketball they've ever played as a team is when whatchamacallit, Garland and Allen were out, and D. Mitch and Mobley had to man the 4, and Dean Wade was playing the 4, and Mobley was playing the 5. I think that's some of the best basketball they ever played. Now, that was a few years ago under JB, but it's just, I think there are things that they could do aside from just standing pat, because I think in the NBA, when you're not getting better, you're getting worse. That's how I feel.
Okay.
If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Unless you're already at the top of the mountain. And even at the top of the mountain, that still applies. Like, oh, we were lucky to be able to trade for Jared McCain. We were also fortunate to see AJ Mitchell develop and have play. Look at
Derek face.
Giving that shit away, man.
stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, I did give him
we
up.
came out on the right end and on the right side of that, because if it doesn't go that way, we're actually getting worse if we're not able to get a Jared McCain and if we're not able to develop AJ Mitchell. So I get your point, though. I do agree with you, real talk, on not just blowing the whole thing up, because then it's like, to what end? And I was telling Real Talk that as well. I mean, not Real Talk. I was telling Gifted that as well. So, yeah.
Evan Mobley's not a big enough nor physical enough body to be a full-time 5. He would need like an Isaiah Hardenstein next to him, which is basically just another center. So you already have that in Jared Allen. I'm sorry. But PJ Washington and Evan Mobley at the 4-5s getting clinked up on the glass against any real competitive team. Your front court's getting bullied regularly. It's not a maybe. I mean, we've been seeing.
I mean,
Evan Mobley
I'd
for 5
also
minutes
argue
now
to play devil's advocate, Real Talk, you could say they're getting bullied right now.
Right.
So
That's why
I think their front court is holding up more right now. I've been more impressed with Cleveland's 4-5, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, than that's been the most impressive part of their playoff run so far. And their team is Evan Mobley and Jared Allen have been playing well.
I still think it limits.
I agree.
Yeah,
but
go ahead,
I agree, but for one, I think the league is going to force Mobley to be a 5, whether he's in Cleveland or not. But I think the bar was in hell, and that's why we're impressed by Allen and Mobley, because they were a joke the entire regular season, and it just so happens they were good for 2 playoff series. I don't want to take that away. To me, that's like the natural course of development. They're doing well. But then subsequently, D. Mitch and Harden have been pissing their pants. So now it makes Mobley and Allen look better. So again, it's twofold. I agree. I definitely agree with the business side of things. I don't think we're really looking at it from that angle. Ultimately, there are plenty of franchises that are just going to be very okay with being a playoff team, getting the bonus checks, getting a level of intrigue from their fandoms. That's all well and good. I agree. I feel like as far as the retooling is concerned, because I think if you just run it back, there's going to be some frustration with Cleveland fans, deservingly so. The most obvious pick is Jared Allen to move off of if you're going to retool and not rock with the quote unquote big four. So that is just what makes the most sense, because I don't think they deal Harden because they got to deal with this contract stuff. And I do think D. Mitch and Mobley are less likely to move. I don't think it's impossible. I think they should think about it, but Allen's the one that's on the chopping block.
I mean, yeah, of them, Allen's probably the one that's going to get moved.
Oh,
I don't know, man. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they are a bridge. To me, Cleveland's problem is more so their 3 position, more so than
ding, ding,
Evan
ding.
Mobley and Jared Allen. I think like if Max Strus is Jaden McDaniels, I think that changes the dynamic of that team completely. Because now you also have a point of attack defender that you can employ on other people's best players and stuff like that. Yeah, I think they need to address, if they do something this offseason, needs to address the 3 position. But I mean, outside of that, and trying to get off Harden, I definitely understand that. I'm not moving Jared. I'm not moving Mobley. I'm not moving Donovan Mitchell. They've been producing too good of regular season results for me for year on end at this point, and we can try to get better at the 3 position. That's been a position that's been lacking for them for some time now. Also, this isn't like the first year where they're having problems at the 3.
Well, there's a 3 that they're rumored to sign in the offseason for vet men, according to some.
Ooh,
Yeah, that'll do a
Bron?
lot. Yeah, that
Bron isn't a 3 though.
I'm coming.
Well, no, Bron's a 4, technically speaking, but he used to play the 3.
Yeah, Bron is a 4 now, but
he's a real 4 to me, though.
I mean,
Dean
Bron
Wade's a
wants to go
4.
to Cleveland.
It don't matter.
I mean, so be it. Go over there.
I do want to point out, I do think the Evan Mobley disrespect is going kind of far, because we got another super chat from Disney. He said Evan Mobley for this feels so disrespectful to even say out loud. Evan Mobley for De'Aaron Fox trade. Like, no.
Hey, yo, bro. Hey, look, man. Hey, look. It's cool to kick a guy while he's down, I guess. I mean, I don't think Mobley has been bad this postseason, but doing something like that means to have you lose your job and your whole lineage, like anybody who's related to you, never get an opportunity again. Like anybody who had any teaching from you, if you make a move like
Gotta
that,
back it up. Yeah.
back it up. No, it's as soon as you do it, hey, that guy and anybody who's associated with them,
Done.
put it done.
I'm a real talk so hard on it because, again, front court to me is more than just their 4 and their 5. The front court has been better than I thought they would be so far in these playoffs. The problem is they don't have a dynamic ceiling because they have limited areas offensively. If they had a 3 that could bridge that gap, I think they would be a better team. I think a budget-friendly alternative at the 3 that would have been better if this was maybe 2022 and not 2026, probably Andrew Wiggins, who could, like, shoot the ball, guard, 3. Like, I don't see it for them in one offseason making that shift. And me personally, I've already said this before, I'm fine with saying it's Cleveland. They need a good team, cool. But if I'm actually trying to make the roster better, I'm not gonna say Donovan Mitchell is safe. I would be entertaining a bunch of trades if the ceiling makes sense. It's all based on what is your ceiling. I don't think they have a high ceiling, but the floor is very high with this team, and that's like your trade off right there to me.
They also need a backup big. They need. I mean,
Yeah,
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley subbing for each other while also starting with each other is kind of crazy to me. They did an actual third option at the 5
Yeah, that's
spot.
true. Thomas
Probably
Bryant ain't
does.
gonna cut it.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. Interesting things to look at. Yeah. My last word would just be I think it's really hard for them to try to get better without using some uh, some real assets. I'll say that. Like Max Struess has a sizable contract, something that can be moved, but not a real asset to me. So when I'm looking at it from that standpoint and that perspective, it's like, all right, in order to get better, I think it may have to be one of the guys. And I think it's too hard to move Harden. Like, if that's the case, why trade for him? I'm no point in trading for him if I'm gonna try to move him now for a guy who's younger. Because I had a guy who was younger. I had a guy who played a similar style
yeah,
of basketball too. Right.
yeah. I don't think that there's much value that you're gonna get back from trying to trade James Harden. Realistically, I think you're probably just better off keeping him. I mean, the highest value obviously is Mobley, but it's hard to do a trade for Mobley that you just don't outright lose because he's very much so the backbone of what you do defensively. So it's like, unless you're saying Mobley for Giannis, I'm probably not trading Evan Mobley. If I'm just being honest with you, but that would be the move you do to like raise the ceiling.
I would trade Donovan Mitchell for Giannis.
I do that too. I don't think the Bucks would do that. I think the Bucks want a young star player back. And I think Donovan Mitchell is young, but he's not as young as Mobley, and he's basically reaching, I think, his 30s. Like they probably want a actual building block. I don't think Donovan Mitchell at
Yeah.
this point is a building block anymore.
I mean, if that's something they're entertaining a 3-team trade. It would be more than just 2, I'll say.
Yeah.
And I think if you bring in Giannis, if it's Giannis for Mitch, gotta entertain moving Allen at some point as well.
Yeah, then I'm also comfortable putting Jared Allen in that deal to maybe sweeten it up for the Bucks, because now I have a physical 4 that's actually also 7 feet tall, to where we can get away with Mobley getting pushed around as a center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair. Fair. I will say this: we spent an ungodly amount of time on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Rest in piss. Now we can move on to the other team and then the real series, of course. But the other team, shout out to the Knicks. I'll say this: I was a person that wasn't as high on the Knicks based on I think what they were doing in the regular season. But again, matchups are everything. I thought the Celtics were going to beat the Knicks in the playoffs at the beginning because I thought the growth from Tatum was good. I thought Jaylen Brown was also still playing well with Tatum. However, upon seeing the pathing, I've had the Knicks in pretty much every series, and they play like it. I mean, listen, they won 10 games straight. Derek, I know we love to shit on all over the Eastern Conference. It's not a good conference. I get it. But 10 games in a row with, I think, the best offense and the overall best net rating has to mean something for a team. So I do want to give the Knicks their credit. I think their depth has been good. Cat's having his best overall postseason. I think the Knicks are a serious team. I do.
I mean, since January 20th, they've had the best net rating in the league, best defensive rating in the league as well. I'm very upset that right before the playoffs, I switched to the Celtics because of my JT blindness.
I fell for it
I've
too,
been
gang.
sticking with the Knicks all year. And they're proving me right as far as what I was saying, as far as them being elite. They're just clicking on all cylinders right now, and Jalen Brunson's one of the best 6'7" offensive players in the league right now. You have Mike Brown, who to me is the best remaining coach in the playoffs, in my opinion. Cat is utilizing him offensively. really cool. Getting the buy-in from the entirety of the roster. Landry Shamet has been really good for them all season, not just in the playoffs. Um, Miles McBride, he's come back, provided some POA at the guard position a little bit, something that they were missing in the regular season because he only played 41 games. Mitchell Robinson's one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. OG Anunoby's one of the best role players in the league, if not the best. Josh Hart, he shot 41% from three in the regular season. Hopefully his shooting can come around. They're going to need that vitally in the finals if they want to compete against either one of the teams, because if
Yeah.
San Antonio comes out, they'll just have Wemby roaming off of him, and he needs to be able to, hit those shots. But yeah, they've also just been the best offensive team in the league now for quite some time as well, because they quite frankly don't miss open shots. So salute to the Knicks. They're going to the finals. Wow.
How's that make you feel, Derek?
I mean, it's not about how I feel, but I've got some stats here. I wanted to jot this down because I was curious. 3-point shooting ain't everything, but it's certainly something. So the remaining 4 teams, if you're curious, Cleveland takes the most 3-point attempts this playoffs at 38 a game. They're shooting 33% as a team. San Antonio is at 34 attempts per game. They shoot 37% from that spot. Oklahoma City shoots 37 attempts per game, also at 37% per game.
Woo.
The New York Knicks shoot the least amount of threes at 32 a game, but have the highest percentage at 40% as a team. Really impressive stuff. The Knicks, have orchestrated this offense where, they're probably the best proof of not every team runs the exact same offense. Like if you get some casuals that say, oh, the NBA is all the same, they all just do the same stuff. The Knicks are probably the poster child of here. They're doing something different and it's working really well. They're 1 game away from the finals. It's collective shooting, but you have Jalen Brunson, who's a small guard who does most of his damage in the paint and the mid-range. You have Cat, who's an elite spacing center, but does most of his damage nowadays at high elbow, above the nail. And then you've got a bunch of other guys that are just absolutely snipers. To the OG point, I don't know what to consider OG. I feel like a role player, while I understand why he get that title, is kind of insane. And it makes me think of the Caruso talks too. Like, is Caruso, an all-time great role player? I know that was a big thing for like ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
For OG, who did miss some time this offs with some injuries, he is kind of going insane. Only taking 11 shots a game. 59% of them are going in. 51% on 5 attempts from 3.
Like, that's ridiculous.
While still playing some of the best defense from a wing, certainly left in the offs. I feel like it is certainly validation for any Knicks fan, and certainly the Knicks front office, that both of their wings have been really, really good this playoffs, Mikal included. And they're doing exactly what you need them to do. Play some good defense, move with pace, swing the ball, don't get sticky, but then make your shots. Mikal's also been terrific in that regard as well. So, super respect the depth. It is interesting that also I think the Knicks, OKC, and San Antonio, probably the 3 deepest teams in the league as well, also happen to be here. Real talk, just rattled off all of the Knicks players. I think for me, though, and I know this is one of Gifted's favorite players at this point, it to me is the Cat adjustment. And I've got his numbers from last playoffs and this playoffs, and it really is night and day. So Cat was just under 36 minutes a game in the last offs, 18 game sample size, by the way. He averaged 21, 12, and 1 assist on 16 shots a game. Like, bona fide number 2 option production. Shooting splits were 49, 35, and 85, by the way. This playoffs, I think we're at 15 game sample now. 13 game sample. We've got 30 minutes a night, 17, 10, and 6, 10 shots a game, 56, 45, 89 shooting splits. A true shooting of 59, if you care about that. I've got 25 cat equals superior Sabonis written down. This is the superior Sabonis. This is Mike Brown's Sacramento dream. This is what he always wanted Sabonis to be. And I think they got it in Cat. And respect to Cat, because that's a really, really good player. And that's a huge reason why they're winning.
This is what his second or third straight year being in a conference final.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Cat's a really good player. I do think he gets a bit disrespected. Number one, he does foolish shit on the court. We're not going to ever deny that. Like, there are some airhead plays done out there. Obviously, the zestiness is fun to talk about and laugh about. But he really is a really good basketball player, man. And when you have real spacing at the 5 like that, it just creates really good offense. But he was also able to play the 4 alongside Rudy Gobert, and that spacing there was really needed from Minnesota because of the Rudy Gobert factor. Oh man, if they had Karl-Anthony Towns in the Spurs series, I don't know. Maybe shit looked a little different. You know what I'm saying? Play Cat at the 5. Get Rudy bum ass up out of there. Offensively bum ass. Respect to the DPOIs and stuff. You get Nas Reed at the 4 or 5, and they have some real shooting, some real offensive pop, and not that terrorist number 30 out there just dragging down your team. My goodness, if the Knicks win that trade.
Oh
my God. Yeah. Shout out to Cat, man. Shout out to Cat.
Yeah, I cannot say enough how bad of a player Julius Randle was when they lost to the Spurs in 6 games, because he didn't have a game where he shot, I think, 50% the entire series. And
he didn't have a game.
Well, yeah, no, period. He just
he just sucked every single game. It's quite amazing. Even trash players usually get the.
I think the defensive limit was good in game 1. Game 1 it was good.
Jalen Green got a game off against the Warriors.
He did.
And he's ass. But he got 1 game. Julius Randle didn't get a game off. 0. He just got.
I think he had some good moments in game 1, but he didn't have a game. You're right. And the crazy part is he had 6 chances to get a game off, and he never got one off. So that's a little
crazy.
A little tough. Yeah, but now I'm gonna pivot off of the Julius Randle hate because I just don't think it's worth it. I'll say this about the Knicks, man. We talked about this yesterday on Real Talk's channel as well. The Knicks could win a title based on the matchup. I don't know how Derek feels. I don't think they beat Oklahoma City. I think they could beat the Spurs. I think that would be on the table based on what we've seen so far.
I mean, I think the depth gives them a shot in both series, for sure. I would agree. I think Brunson would just be in hell against OKC because all the hunting, and when the going gets tough, Brunson hunting for a favorable matchup is still what the Knicks will fall on, and that just won't work in OKC series. I just
come here, Shay.
Yeah, it's come up and have a dance. Now, I will say Brunson getting someone in foul trouble is cool, but that's the problem is they just have so many ways to deploy defenders, or unlike the team we spent 2 hours talking about, they actually will stay attached and follow their matchup. So, right. I feel like that would be a really difficult series. I do think in the Spurs series is more interesting because I think it's a less physical team overall, which would play into the favor for the Knicks. And I think ultimately Wemby wouldn't be able to stop everything they've got. If the Knicks can continue to hit their shots like they are right now, be 40% from 3-point line and just be the best offense, Wemby can only do so much. He might be able to slow down Brunson's game, but everybody else aside from Josh Hart can hit a jump shot. So I'd probably be forced to lean Knicks in that situation, but yeah, I would I think OKC would handle that in 5 games if it was the Knicks.
Giving the Knicks a 40% chance of beating OKC, and I give them a 55 to 60% chance to beat the Spurs. I will have them as the favorite against the Spurs. I would just flat out pick them to beat the Spurs. Against OKC, I think the way they have to go about their series, and I think they've kind of been training themselves to get to this. Um, like Derek was saying, you can't really do the Brunson ball against OKC, but what you can maybe do is this spacing, ball movement, man movement thing that we have seen. If any offense do get any kind of regular success against OKC, it's with movement. It's not with one particular player isoling somebody from the top of the key. That's not going to get it done against OKC. Um, I think they're trying to emulate some stuff that they were able to see with Indiana, in my opinion. Indiana found a lot of success against OKC, being opportunistic, running when they can, trying to go against unset defense as much as possible. And then one thing that Indiana has been doing the last 2 playoff runs, and one thing the Knicks are definitely doing right now, is you have to make the open shots. Like, you have to
Yeah.
capitalize on that, especially against like a defense like OKC, because there will be some openings, right? But what makes going up against OKC such a stressor is that, like, there's an emphasis on you making your open shots, because the margin for error against them is pretty slim. But the Knicks have been shooting the piss out of the basketball here in this playoffs, and so if they can continue to do that and kind of keep away from the Brunson ball as much, keep with the ball movement, man movement, um, I think they'll have a shot. I will still have the OKC as the favorites, but I'm not ruling out the Knicks. I think we've been doing that too much recently when it comes to these playoff series and such. As far as ruling out the Eastern Conference team, is what I'm saying.
We can't hear you, Wes. I think it picked another, microphone for you right there. So want to make sure you know that at the very least for you get your shit off. And I am reading chat.
Oh,
Yep. I hear you now. Go ahead.
yeah, nah. I just said interesting. Uh, I understand giving them a shot to win. 40's a little high for me, but a lot of that could be the fandom. I do think they match up relatively well with some of the things that they do well, like getting second chance opportunities, the physicality. I think those are 2 things they match up well with us in the series for it. And then also to the point of shooting, one of the things we are willing to give up is 3-point shots. We want to close off everything inside. If you beat us from the arc, so be it. But it's kind of how our defensive game plan goes. And I think that they do a lot of things well that either plays into like the way we want to defend in terms of it goes against that, or like the second chance opportunities and just ultimately the physicality. They have that grit and grind about them, and it's nice to see. So yeah, I think they have a shot per se, but yeah, I'm picking us going away. As for San Antonio, yeah, I think they could beat San Antonio for sure. I think being a favorite in that series is appropriate per se, but we'll see, man. I think they already punched their ticket. But these other 2 teams, we got to see who punches their ticket. So,
And
Yeah, we
I
got
think
to
that
see, because it ain't over.
yes, and
Please
I think that's
believe that it ain't over.
I think that is the perfect segue to the Western Conference, which to me has just been better basketball. Before we do that, I want to quickly read off this quick super chat from the beginning that we didn't read off. As a Laker fan, what moves should we make? That is an off-season conversation. Trade Austin Reeves. Move off LeBron if he wants a bigger extension contract, and try to get two-way players that are not just one-way guys would be my, I think, 3 points for the Lakers. Real talk, you being a Lakers fan, you can also chime in on that.
Well, we'll get to use that 50 million that's about to be off the books. Amen. Praise God. Salute to LeBron. He's done a lot for LA, Laker legend, all of that. I do feel like it's ran its course. It's time to flip the page. We have our new franchise guy here in Luka Doncic. It's time to worry about Luka and not worry about the 41-year-old that's on the brink of retiring every offseason but still wants max contracts. Now, Austin Reeves gotta go. Um, I'm so good off having this unathletic backcourt. Like I'm really good off that, man. We've had unathletic backcourt after unathletic backcourt. D'Lo and Reeves, D'Lo and Patrick Beverly, shit like this and whatnot. Or I don't even know if they're on the team at the same time. I'm just tired of unathletic backcourts. Can we get a two next to Luca that can guard, get out in transition, hit some open shots, and maybe run a little bit of second side action pick and roll?
Okay.
That's it. Hey, Orlando, if y'all don't want Suggs and y'all need a playmaker, Austin Jalen swap. I'm just saying, makes a lot of sense to me. So yeah, we gotta address the athleticism issue, because you look at these playoffs, man, and that's clear as day. These heavily relying on skills guys that don't have a lot of athletic pop. When you get to the playoffs and niggas can grab and hold and tug and pull, all of a sudden Jamal Murray's ass. It's not because Jamal Murray's ass, it's because there was no athletic advantage out there for him against Ayo Dosunmu. The fuck is he going to do? He's not quicker. He's not faster. He's not stronger. He's not nothing. Austin Reeves has to rely on, grifting, because he can't cleanly beat Case and Wallace off the dribble consistently, or Alice Caruso, or name the guy over there in Oklahoma City. So like, athleticism to me has been one of the major points in this playoffs, in my opinion. And then the front court, the center position to be exact. If you look at series to series, the center position has been very important. The reason why Detroit was such a disappointment and almost got bounced out in the first round is because Wendell Carter was flatly outplaying Jalen Duren. When you look at the Cavs series and what got them over the top against Detroit, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley were outplaying Jalen Duren once again. New York, Cat and Mitchell were able to enforce their will and presence on Atlanta as that series went about. Philadelphia upset Boston. Why? Because Boston didn't have a good enough five to deal with Joel Embiid. But then Philly turns around and loses to New York. Why? Because I think Cat flatly outplayed Joel Embiid. That's one of the reasons why they advanced in that series. I think center position is very, very important. The reason why Denver went home, obviously, Rudy Gobert was winning his center matchup a lot of these games. So, I mean, DeAndre Ayton isn't going to cut it. All that to say that.
No.
DeAndre Ayton isn't going to cut it. We have to address the center position in a very serious matter, too. Not like one of these, let's get a guy on the margins. I don't think a playoff team, good teams now have margin caliber centers. That's not a thing. You have to have a good five. All the remaining teams in the playoffs right now have a good five.
So
Besides,
it's
maybe I don't know
impossible
how
for
y'all
you
feel
all to
about Jared Allen.
rebuild, essentially. It's impossible for you to do it in one offseason and potentially two. You may need, you know.
Bro, we finna get Jalen Suggs or Jay McDaniels and then we finna get
How you go from Jalen Suggs to Jaden McDaniels? That's not.
I said or,
in,
not and.
in
I
no
said or,
world,
not
in
You
no,
said or.
hear me
Where?
loud and clear. In no world are
Where?
y'all getting Jaden McDaniels.
Do you mean
Well, no, he was
Jalen
scot-free.
McDaniels?
No,
Do you mean
no, he
his
did not.
brother?
No,
His brother Jalen? I
They're
think
not
he's
definitely
available.
meant
getting
Jaden
Jaden
McDaniels.
The
we get
Jalen
Jaden
Suggs
McDaniels
thing, I can
or
see
Jalen
Jalen Suggs.
Suggs.
Our boy
Not getting
J
And then
Mac.
we're gonna get we also need to try to get Wendell from Orlando too. I like Wendell.
Okay.
Wendell's cool.
No, you don't. You liked him against Jalen Duren. You're not going to like him for a regular season.
I think you could get better bigs to fit with Luka, but I don't think he's bad. I'll say that. I do think he's gotten a weird rap. Yeah, he's not bad. He just has a role. As so many like every player in the NBA has a role, right?
Yeah.
So his role is just a little more limited than others, but he's definitely a capable player. It's interesting though, man. That's a lot of things to shake up. How would you? I don't want to spend too much time on this, but how would you address having a secondary, like a true two? Like, how would you address that? Where would you allocate funds to have that two? Would it be on the wing? Would it be in the backcourt with Luka? Would it be at the 5 position?
And like, how good should they be to you?
Like a secondary
Yeah,
Yeah.
second option. Yeah.
Yeah.
second option. As of right now, I mean, I'm not too much concerning myself with that. I'm hoping groups without Luca can like do something as a collective. But when you have a player as ball dominant as Luka Doncic, and specifically like playoff settings, going to be playing 40 plus minutes a game. You either do need a second option or at least people that routinely cash in on his sequences that he creates, like the constant 2-on-1 or 3-on-4 advantages that it creates on the backside by getting blitzed and pick and roll and stuff like that. I think that kind of is more important than necessarily a second option with a player so ball dominant like Luka.
Fierce. All right.
I'm gonna give this last question some credence before we get to the Western Conference rumbling. Am I crazy for thinking Dallas might listen to an Austin Reeves Kyrie swap?
No.
Nah, I don't think you're crazy. Will Austin really be cheaper? It'll probably be about the same amount, but younger player.
And they have like a very limited roster as is, so like they're fine to pay him that much money to me because what else do they have?
It's possible. I think it's a bad decision if they do that, but it's definitely possible. But if I want to pivot off of Kyrie, I want to pivot and not commit any type of long-term money to a player unless Reeves will be the type, or like in terms of age, young player,
Yeah.
a long career ahead of him, etc. But I don't know. That's just trust. I don't know, or it's tough because I don't know if I want to tie Coop's future to, your primary being Austin Reeves. And that's not saying he can't earn that, but like a team like Detroit, I'd be more confident in. They have more support around, to
It's
make
much
it
better
to
defense
where
around Kyrie to
we
make
can
it make
assume
sense. Yeah.
exactly. And in Dallas, I think they're just so far from anything in terms of building a competent roster. I wouldn't want to commit to that yet.
Respectfully, Reeves also is not young. He's about to be 28.
Whoa,
Oh, that's a good point.
I thought it was 26.
Reeves. Yeah, I think.
No,
Okay.
Reeves is old.
So-
Actually have Kyrie going to another destination. Well, at least this team should consider him. I think Kyrie should be in San Antonio by next year for De'Aaron Fox.
I like it. Real talk. Let's pop.
think
Okay.
that
I like that. That's
Kyrie
nasty.
Irving
I like that.
is a player, more of the archetype of guard that they're looking for to play alongside Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, and you have two players that are going to be on the ball that much, particularly like a Stephon Castle who basically has to, so he can run half peg dive, because that's his offensive bag right now. I think they need more of a reliable jump shot maker as their point guard, playing alongside Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle, more so than like somebody else who also kind of needs the ball to get in rhythm. Because like De'Aaron Fox, I know he's an improved jump shot shooter, but I mean, Kyrie Irving's one of the greatest shooters of all time. And
Ever.
so
Yeah.
if you also, that's another veteran guard per se. So you're doing the same thing, you're addressing the same thing. Also, I do think Kyrie Irving is a little bit cheaper right now as well. And I don't know if he has the same amount of years left on his contract, or
I think Harry got like one more year
probably
left, right?
a year
Yeah,
or two left or something like that.
he'll be a free agent. I think.
So yeah.
27.
Yeah.
So like if it doesn't work, you could move off of it quickly. And then if you're Dallas, you do get a younger guard to go with Cooper Flag as y'all are like developing there. And then also, I think De'Aaron Fox making the amount of money that he makes really shouldn't be a problem on Dallas, because it's not like they're have like a major contract on that roster right now that I know of, at least. And then you also can move off of that in the next like 2 or 3 years as well, while y'all are building whatever you're trying to build to the draft and whatnot in development with Cooper Flag. So like, I think it works out for both teams. I think that would be the move if I'm San Antonio, because Kyrie is another ball handler, obviously, but like the dynamic that they're missing in San Antonio is it's more like reliable shot making in Kyrie.
It's a much better fit.
Yeah, that'll take them over
Yeah.
the top, man. That
I like
actually
that a
had
lot.
me worried. Like I'm not worried about that team as is right now. If they go get Kyrie and he's healthy,
It just makes so much sense because again, like the counters in terms of mid-range shot making, three-point shot making, and also just not having to have the ball, but also having someone to properly push pace quickly. I think like you still get a guy that you can trust to close out games, because that I think has been the Fox role. The only thing is it all depends on what Wes is saying, if the new ownership under I think Masai Ujiri is okay with hardly committing to the salary of Fox and not just want a flexibility. I think it shouldn't be that much of a problem, because you're right. There's not many people that are gonna be in line to be paid on Dallas, because quite frankly, Dallas doesn't have that much talent. Like they need talent. So that's a fair thing to bring up, honestly. You know?
yeah, good little fire sale over there.
Yeah.
A lot of NBA teams should be paying attention to Dallas. Excuse me. Heading into next year's trade deadline, because I could see PJ on the move.
PJ, Daniel,
Gafford,
Gafford's definitely
on the
move.
Gafford, Kyrie.
Yeah.
Need Gafford as a Sixer yesterday.
Hell, I don't know if Lively will ever play basketball again, but assuming he does,
He just don't
telling
play,
you,
he
man.
could be on the move. Yeah,
He just don't play anymore, so I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah, nah. I think the only players they probably try to protect are obviously Coop and maybe Max. They might protect Max.
I feel like the only
For now,
player that's like
yeah,
really safe
well.
is definitely Cooper Flag. Everyone else can move if it's me, but I think Max is probably the other safe player that I'm probably not going to trade. Outside of that, I'm down for like everything to be shaken up, if I'm being real. I think Chris Middleton expires, right?
At the end of next year, I think.
It
It
might
should
be.
be soon. Yeah, it should be
It
soon.
should be soon.
Yeah.
This should be.
Yeah. Well, I think that was a good little detour. Oh wait, I don't think we heard from Derek in terms of how he feels about the Fox versus Kyrie thing. So we'll do that first, and then we'll segue into the series.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah,
Kyrie
Wes.
was younger, man, because I do think that would be perfect. I'm afraid after the injury, on top of obviously being an older guard, I don't see the Spurs upper brass being all that interested in taking on an older version of a player they kind of already have an answer for. not to say they have Kyrie's as a player on that roster presently, but they have Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle. They have a backcourt of the future. Harper, I think, is your true one moving forward. Castle, I think, is your off guard / damn near wing.
Yeah.
You can play him at the 1-2. I think he's playing out of position as like the traditional 1 right now. I think he's a 2 or a 3 long term. I think you keep him. I think he's been a good enough player. He showed you far too many flashes. So it's like, I do think Fox is the odd man out. But if I'm trading Fox, I'm looking for either some draft capital back to again get players that match my timeline, or get a better 4/3. I think Carter Bryant's going to be a good 3 eventually. I just have no idea when that offense is ever going to click. So I think it'd be a 3 that can actually shoot, or a 4 that, whatever 4 that is, that can do the dirty work things, but also might be able to play a little bit of 5 when Wemby sits. That would be ultimately what I'm looking for. Kyrie, I think it's a shame, but I don't think it's going to line up timeline-wise.
Well said. Well said. We'll pivot to the Western Conference. I want to quickly read off these chats and then we'll get into it. Quickly, just team answers from you guys. If you could do this, what team should go after Dylan Brooks? To me, pretty obviously, if I'm the Cavs, I'm taking a shot. I think that's like a 3 in that mold that can actually defend and hit shots. I think that's a team that makes sense. How about y'all?
Phoenix.
I mean, yeah.
Phoenix, I don't want to move him. I think, I'll just say that because it'll get us into, a rabbit hole. But yeah, Phoenix.
Okay,
let's keep.
They should look to keep him. I agree. Culture setter. Actually brought some life to that team. I'm not mad at it.
Man.
Yeah, like
down the purple and gold a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, his arch nemesis leaving the team. He's replacing him.
Yeah,
that would be hilarious.
LeBron and get
rid of LeBron and bring in Dylan Brooks. Yes, especially after like that meme of him just hating, like actually spending his own bread to hate watching the closeout game. That was crazy. But yeah,
never seen
Dylan Brooks is going on a generational troll campaign right now. What he's doing with SGA. Did y'all see
with the SGA? Yeah,
I did. That was crazy.
A whole
that's crazy too, because that's his dog. That's his guy.
Yeah,
that's his guy. But all in good fun. Did you see what Underdog? They did a giveaway, money and the little that little game, limited edition.
I net
they were giving out money. Yep.
Yeah. That shit was sad.
Damo,
yeah.
Damo has missed generational wealth baby. Twice now.
Yeah.
The real Showtime, not that 80 shit that they still trying to pitch in the 2020s. Like, the real Showtime, man. Let's talk about it. Gifted. Where we at with it?
Let's get to it, man. And this super chat is perfectly in tune. I'll read this out before I give my thoughts. In the chat, first off, W Hotspot, he said, the series is rigged to go 7, even though OKC should end it in 5 games. If I'm Oklahoma City tonight, you start McCain. McCain has no fear of Wemby, and that sets a tone. Before I respond to that, I'm going to say this. Shout out to the Western Conference hoops we have been witnessing. The narratives that have shifted game to game has been some of the crazy shit that I've seen. It goes from Shea is a foul baiter loser that cannot play honest, ethical basketball to, well, look at how much he's falling because he's not actually getting the free throws people think he is. Also, I do want to say this.
He's protecting his lower body.
Look, man, it's been a lot of dialogue and discourse. I think I do find it funny because we're seeing fans.
People are sick.
Yeah, people are sick. I think Wemby was spectacular in game 1. Wes, what are you saying, Wes? What are you saying, Wes? Let me know, Wes.
I'm just letting the chat know he is people.
Oh, right, yeah.
Not at all. But that Shea, I'm trolling with like I don't think Shea's like that. I'm not gonna say he's not a foul baiter because he definitely baits fouls, but like it's not to an egregious extent to where it's like really bothering me. But
Yeah.
all that falling on the ground, no, get your ass up, bruh. I just hate that. I
This how
hate
you know we
watching
got
a player
motion, bruh. This how you know we got
routinely
motion.
fall on the ground.
Falling is
No,
a
it's
real combo
also
right now.
like
Wow.
They did it with Embiid. They
his
did
eye
it with
right
Embiid.
there.
They did it with
I
Embiid.
hate it.
for sure.
I
Yo.
couldn't stand watching the beat sometimes. Like, get your big ass up. You the
I hear
biggest
you on
somebody
that.
out here
Yeah.
falling
He was
every other
medically
play.
told by his
But-
doctors to
Hey.
fall.
Medical text. Medical text.
There is a doctor's note. I can
It's a
show
doctor's
you
note for his
the
falling.
note. He can get out of class early. He's got the doctor's note. He's had it for 6 years.
Hilarious. But yeah, man, I've really enjoyed the hoops. I will say this though, I don't know how y'all feel. I would love Game 4 to look more like Game 1, because I think Game 1 was easily, like, I would say, one of the best overall playoff games I've seen in at least I think the past 5 years. I think games 2 and 3 have been good, but not that same level, and I just missed that. But outside of that, I've liked the series a ton. What we're seeing though is the word playable and how important that is. Because Luke Cornett, unplayable, who is a backup big. You might need to get a better backup big. 6th man of the year, Keldon Johnson. I'm going to say it, unfucking playable. I don't know how y'all felt about this. I was yelling at the top of my lungs, Wes, in game 1 when this, I say game 1, sorry, game 3. The Spurs go up 15 and then they sit Wemby. And for the entire series, by the way, whenever they sit Wemby, bad shit happens. But then the Luke Cornett sub happens. And then more importantly, Keldon Johnson gets in the game. And people are going to tell me, gifted, you're dragging it. This nigga was a minus 23 by the end of the third quarter. He only played 12 minutes. I'm telling you right now, it was some of the most destructive hoops I have seen in a long time. The shit that he was doing in terms of, for one, not hitting threes, the offensive fouls and the turnovers, it really did a negative impact on the Spurs. But shout out to OKC, because guess what else, real talk, I'm tired of? People acting so surprised when NBA players are making shots that are wide the fuck open. Newsflash, if your coverage is to leave Alex Caruso and Duke Dennis open from 3, when they start hitting shots, you can't be terribly surprised at what happens. Like, that is what they have been trained to practice for, and that's the shots that you are giving them. In my opinion, and Wes might laugh at this, I dead ass look at this series and I'm like, listen, Shea is a great player for sure, but to just completely leave others wide the fuck open, like, let Shea show it to you, which he will. He's a great player. He will. But dead ass, they're just giving up so many open looks. And the scary part is Jared McCain, who's been marketed as a 3-point shooter, isn't even killing from 3. It's 2s and like, so you know that game is coming where, oh shit, he hit 8-3. That's gonna probably come at some point. So if it's me, I want to tighten up and change the frequency of the coverages if I'm the Spurs. That is my take right now on the series, me personally.
Yeah, I wouldn't laugh at you for that. It's actually a conversation I had with a few good Spurs supporters, because they don't really have fans. You know, they got niggas who support them. Niggas who are Houston
Talk about
Rocket fans, but we gotta take down OKC. So let's go Spurs, go. We got fucking Miami Heat fans, but we gotta take down OKC. Go Spurs, go. We got
Yeah.
Memphis Grizzly fans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So to their supporters, I was having a few conversations, and one of them was about their coverages and how they're guarding Shea and whether or not they should adjust. And I think they could definitely stand to make Shea play one-on-one and understand, like, yo, Shea, you could get yours, but we're going to cut off the water, because they have a good enough defense to where if they focus more on our role players who are limited in what they can do, who cannot overcome super, super tight coverage, who cannot overcome having to have like make counters, things of that nature, who can't do those things, yeah, they could stand to come out on the other side of that, especially with no Dub and no AJ Mitchell. And AJ was a shrimp in this series for the most part anyway, but I appreciated his ball handling for real. Like he helped us minimize, turnovers, and that was key. But I mean, realistically, man, I gotta give so much credit to iHeart. I gotta give so much credit to Jalen Williams. I gotta give so much credit to Kaysen, Jared McCain, and Caruso. And I know that's a lot of players. It's 5 names, but they have been the series for us thus far. And it's a conversation coming into the series. A lot of Spurs supporters were like, well, we got 6 man of the year. And then we got Dylan Harper. And we got Cornette coming off the bench. And blah. And it's like, all that's cool. I don't have more depth than us. And I don't think you have better role players per se than we do. And thus far through 3 games, we're winning that fight. And it's just so unfortunate what happened in game 1 because we were this close. And granted, things could have changed in game 2 and game 3. Obviously, we know. But, I mean, to be that close to winning that game and potentially looking at a 3-0 series lead is just tough. But, I'm pleased with the way the guys are playing. I'm pleased with the resolve. Taking that, not even first punch, like we took a combination with no guard up. We were J. Cole at Dreamville. Come here, my nigga. I'm right here, chin up, chest out. Like, do what you got to do. And we took that combination, and then, the rest is history for what we did in game 3. And just hopefully we could build off of it. What you say?
So J. Cole did.
That was some bitch ass shit J. Cole did.
Go ahead, dog.
I fuck with J. Cole, but that was some bitch ass shit at your festival. Hey, y'all know that song that cracked everybody upside the head, huh? Shout out my nigga Kendrick. Bruh, this is your festival, bruh. And he dissing you on the track. Anyway, we don't have to
I hated it, but I respect it at the same time. It's weird for me. I don't know. It's the thing.
I don't respect that shit. Hell no. You go out on your sword, nigga. That's what I respect.
I agree.
Out on your sword.
I agree. It's just I take a different man.
But I think that's why I don't think the series is over, because unfortunately injuries are starting to impact this series. J-Dub and AJ Mitchell being out can potentially be a bigger deal than some people would like to think. Now, that is also if Dylan Harper can return to whatever semblance he was before he got injured in this series. And then, of course, De'Aaron Fox is dealing with his own high ankle sprain that he re-aggravated because, linebacker Lou decided that he was going to trip and fall on his ankle. I'm not saying it was intentional, but at this point, you have a reputation. And so I'm just going to assume it was, to be honest with you. That's where I'm at with Lou Dort. That's where I got with Draymond Green as well. So we're here. Here's the thing. I know it sounds cliche against OKC, but it's like, man, if San Antonio could just not turn the ball over, but it's like, it's OKC. That's kind of what they make you do regularly. They are the best team I've ever seen in my life at ensuring that they're going to turn the other team over, like at a really good clip. I don't think I've never seen a better collection of hands on one roster, from Alex Caruso to J-Dub to Kaysen Wallace coming off the bench to even Shea has really good hands. Like this, just you're dribbling and then out of nowhere you already there got your head down trying to beat some demon off the dribble, and here comes such and such out of nowhere that you're not even mentally taking it to effect because you so having a hard time just beating this one nigga. Now, Kaysen want to pickpocket you, helping off somebody. It's like, damn. But yeah, if San Antonio can minimize the turnovers, right? I also think they need to switch up this defensive game plan at this point. Like keep the daring of Alex Caruso has not gone well for you. Okay. You need to stop doing that and start letting Shea play more one-on-one. I think that is a solution. Me and Mars, we had this conversation on our last time. It is like
Yeah.
I'm more so of the Chris Finch, Rick Carlisle kind of does this as well with his Indiana Pacers teams. If you've played like the last two playoff runs, hey, get 40. Shit, hey, ball. If we could corral everybody else, 40 points isn't enough points, unfortunately. It's not in a 2026 basketball game. So get 40. Get 50. But consistently putting your team at a disadvantage by just willingly playing 4-on-3 over and over and over and over again, kind of despite whatever. Shea doesn't even have to necessarily have it going where OKC could walk into a game being like, oh yeah, they're going to put two on the ball here, and then now we have all of our passing sequences down, and it's pocket pass here, kick out there, swing there, corner three. Like they've gotten it down to a routine at this point. So it's time to switch it up. It's time to play Shea 1-on-1. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't, gap help heavy and stuff like that. But like the Lakers, we actually did this more so in like games 3 and 4 in our series against him because we were like blitzing him heavy, heavy, heavy. And then it was like, actually, if we just kind of gap help, let our defensive player kind of manage the situation. And if Shea's shooting over the top 18 footers for the entirety of the game, because you still have one thing we didn't have was the goddamn 8-foot alien behind us.
Yeah.
We didn't have that. You still have Victor at the rim, right? So it's like, hey man, if Shea beats you with 8 made over the top tough jumpers, you shake that young man's hand and you say, great game, young fella. But I'm not finna keep getting beat off wide open jumpers. I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I just can't keep doing that, man.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the thing for me is I always get cautious to switch up a game plan like later in the series because then that's the game that your shooters would stink and then Shea goes for an effective 35 or 40 and then you're screwed. But I feel like for this scheme, for what the Spurs, the situation that they're in, I'm inclined to agree with everybody. My problem is I need to know the health of Fox and Harper because if they can't handle ball handling duty majority of the time, I can't have Castle stick on SGA because Castle's legs will be gone trying to put up with that. And then he's going to be even more ass offensively, turnover-wise.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
That's true.
if they can't go, then I'm forced to stick with my scheme. And look, I've got the shooting splits here because I had to write them down. You've got 2 Thunder players shooting 47% from 3. Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso. That's 9 attempts. J Will, not J Dub, but I didn't even count J Dub because he's only played like 4 games whole run.
I ain't gonna lie, Derek. Fuck that. That's the real Jalen.
All right. Okay.
That's
a real
Jalen.
hamstring. That's a real hamstring. J Will is shooting 44% from 3. That is a third string big. Jared McCain, by the way, who isn't shooting well this particular series, but is shooting 41% for the whole run. He's shooting, I think, 27%.
Well, that's because he didn't
series.
miss against us, by the way.
Right.
That ass shot like 80% or some ridiculous shit.
Yeah, he did get deep. Yeah, y'all got deep fried. Chet is shooting 39% from 3. Dort is 35%. The team's worst statistical shooter is the goddamn MVP. He's dragging y'all percentage down because otherwise you'd be averaging more than the Knicks. He's a cool 31. It's disgusting. Yeah, I mean, look, it's really not even the Spurs' defensive approach that has to switch all that much. I mean, if a team's going to shoot this, it's not really even about open threes. It's about just taking the threes from the spots they're comfortable at. Because Caruso's mastered the corner. Wallace, most of his damage is like closer to the wing. Jay Will, top of the key. He is fine shooting those threes. You have to get them in different spots where they're less comfortable. But it's really about the offensive end. We talked about it before when we did the 6-man conversations. I cannot stand 6 men of the year constantly just being the burner off the bench. Because as soon as I need you to go do that job in the offs, you suck. AKA Naz Reid. I'm so sick of Naz Reid. He is not a T-Wolf for long. He'd be out of there. Shout out to the vibes, but you got to go. I cannot just have disappearing acts be my 6 men. And that's what Keldon sadly has done.
I'm not with you on the Naz Reid thing, but I get the overall point.
I mean, okay, pick any other 6 man if Naz doesn't suit. Doesn't
goddamn
you.
5. Shit.
That's the thing. Keldon and Naz are the same problem in that Naz is not a real 4 or 5. Keldon is not a real 2 or 3.
I think Keldon just has way more CTE than Naz Reid. He stinks.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like Naz can at least like kind of do other stuff, or is like at least big enough to get a rebound. Keldon, not really, unless he's under the basket. And Keldon like definitely had the hustle thing for a while, but now that's just useless against OKC because everyone hustles, everyone pushes and shoves. It doesn't matter. So that part sucks. Surprising? What the bullies of basketball?
The overall take on Keldon, because like scoring is an issue. I think he's doing the dirty work relatively well. He's giving us fits on the glass. Like the first 2 games. He definitely gave us fits on the glass.
But he can't make a basket, and he really can't guard the other guys on the end.
He doesn't pat. Wes. I'm sorry, Wes. Dead ass. I was watching film back. Right, there was a play in Game 3, and I'm not. I guess I am a Wemby Glazer. I don't know. I try to be honest, right? There was a play. I'm all right with that. There was a play in Game 3 specifically where Keldon Johnson has the ball and he dead ass is crowded to the paint. And it's the most open lob I've seen in my lifetime. And Keldon just put his head down and just trying to bully his way into the paint and turns the bitch up. And I'm like, if you can't process to a high level, you can't shoot, and you're a minus 23 in a game that was a 5-point game, you're a negative. Like I have no other way to say it. Even though yes, he does crash the glass pretty well. Golf clap. Like, I'm not gonna really. I need more than that, Wes. I'm sorry. It's the playoffs.
Yeah. Mitch Johnson, for his mental health and mine watching the game, needs to not play Keldon Johnson and Carter Bryant at the same time.
Or Luke Cornett and Keldon Johnson.
The IQ of the team drops just to an ungodly degree when both of those 2 players are on the court together.
It's bad.
Bro, Carter Bryant legit, when they pan the camera to him, he looks clueless. He looks like I'm trying to be as nice as possible. He looks like the mall is open.
He did go to the bathroom.
Ain't nobody shopping. Ain't nobody shopping in that mall. It's just an open blank space. He looks, and so
he's been good though. He's been good though. To be fair to Carter Bryant,
and
I think Carter Bryant's been good.
He has a few good defensive possessions. He has been racking up dumb play after dumb foul after dumb play. It's like, bro, I
can agree with that. We
can't have you out here if you're just going to. It's like one of the plays he ran into somebody shooting the ball on his team. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Get out the way.
Okay. All right, listen. I'm going to ask you a quick question or so, okay? If I put a gun to the back of your head and I said, who are you trusting to play in the game? Luke Cornett or Carter Bryant in this series? Who are you taking?
I'm taking Luke 11 times out of 10.
This nigga is a liar.
I'm saying, hey, when Luke out there, let's try to zone or something. I'm not having no. If
Have
I
you?
can't trust your mental capabilities first and foremost, then I'm not. No, Carter Bryant looking like he don't know what he doing out there on the court. I'm not. I can't do that, bro. I can't do that, bro.
I give you that, but it's like, man, then look where that man has been fucking brutal in the series, bro. Like at least Carter Bryant has been a positive in most of the time he's on the court outside of the stupid shit. Like I've seen him be able to add to what they want to do defensively, minus the occasional dumb fouls. I saw him be a positive in his limited 14 minutes. Keldon is a minus 23 and game 3. Luke Cornett minutes without Wemby are fucking horrible. Like, I think I just trust in like the lineup stability with Carter Bryant over those two players. Like, I don't think Carter
I feel
Bryant's
bad for
unplayable
Luke
in this series.
Cornett though, because I don't even feel like Luke Cornett is that bad. It's just the fact that teams, especially come playoff time, you're going to feel bad for any backup center for Wemby. Because here's the thing: the game plan is going to be, hey, whenever Wemby's out the game,
Go to the
we
pay all the
are
time. Yeah.
we are just diving to the basket over and over and over because this is dead as our only opportunity where we get to do this for real. So it's irregardless of whoever's the backup center for Wemby. I know that they're going to be tested like on a per possession basis at such a ridiculous rate because everybody's going to be like, "Oh, Wemby's out the game. We have to try to get 8 points now." So I mean, unless it's like I don't know Mitchell Robinson or somebody, a backup center for San Antonio is going to have a hard time. They are, especially protecting the paint in the rim, because it's going to be full steam ahead to the basket when Wemby's not in the game in the postseason, for damn sure.
Slop, man.
Yeah,
Slop.
Derek, did you what else did you have on the Spurs bench as a whole and like, you know, your Keldon Johnson point?
Oh yeah, I mean, the reason why I didn't have the Spurs getting out of the second round initially was because I thought they were just too young, and depth just wasn't there. I think Mitch strikes me as a coach who is letting these, especially the young guys, obviously play through their mistakes, and it really doesn't have a whole lot of commentary game to game because he throws Carter out there and is trusting his defensive instincts. I think Carter Bryant has amazing defensive instincts, but when it gets to like late possession, 8 seconds and under to go, he clearly is not filling him in on what he should be doing, like what Carter should be covering. Like it's not so much sticking with your man anymore. You're basically zoning up at the end of a possession, and he's not doing that. And then that's, you know, SGA or somebody else is creating something at the end and they're getting points out of it. So that's frustrating. And then obviously offensively, it's like he's just way too raw. So you're just not going to get the production you need. Harrison Barnes, I'm afraid, is just simply too old. Otherwise, he's the kind of the player I would be playing in this series as far as like IQ is there, understanding spots where to be at, and then just being ready to shoot. But the points have just not been there. That's why it's just so crucial that Harper and then obviously Fox have to play.
Yeah.
I don't think Mitch wants to get to like what amounts to like a real 7-man lineup. But that's kind of what you're at if you want to win this series. Is Wemby, I'm sorry, you're going to play basically every minute I can afford you. Champagne's not really leaving the floor. Castle, you're not really leaving the floor. Vassell, you get 2 minutes to breathe. And then that's it. Because Carter's too young, Harrison's too old. But McLaughlin got minutes, and Gifted and I both like just kind of laughed, but they were positive for like the 2 minutes he was out there.
Oh, he hit
Like,
2 threes.
2 threes. Yeah,
he
2
was a
threes.
-9 though in them little 6 minutes he had.
But that's what I mean. But like you have, it's just enough to stop, not bleed too hard. That's pretty much what they've been doing. So yeah, I don't know. They're in a tough spot. I think they're a little overwhelmed, a little overmatched. So that's why the scheme is so tough. But I'm curious. I really want to see Coach Johnson's approach of like, okay, are we switching defensive scheme to let this SGA kind of go one-on-one with his guy and to like slow down the shooting, or are we going to stay pat? Like, they've been pretty effective against SGA, all things considered. Like they don't have ideal personnel just like perfectly, and I think they've done pretty well. It's just OKC's bench is just disgusting. I mean, your team is shooting like this, there's not much you can do as opposition.
I just feel like if we're saying the coverage needs to change from leaving all the guys open and trying to guard Shea single coverage.
I don't think they're like being so deliberately left open though. I think that's really making it seem like they're just selling out hard. The thing is, Wemby would have more like run out closeouts, but he's just not doing that. So that's like the open three. The problem is it's guys not switching off, and I feel like this is a youth thing. Guys not switching off or passing off their matchup properly. I think that when, if Caruso or Wallace takes a dribble, gets like 2 steps into the paint, there should be a pass off to the next guy to then rotate to the eventual corner three that is coming at the end of this possession. They're just not doing that because it looks bad on film. It looks like, oh, you just didn't guard. And all these young guys are terrified about, screwing up when it's like, no, you really just have to trust your system. But tell that to Dylan Harper, who's 20. Tell that to, Vassell's 25. He got no better. But like, tell that to Stephon Castle. He's still only like 21. Like, I think those instinctually, that's what is ingrained in them. They don't know that they have to just move on. And that's why these threes look so bad.
Also would like to see them do zone a bit more. And not be so reaction, because they tried that, but they were very reactionary when like Alex Caruso caught the ball in the middle, and then that's when you get like the Caruso lay down pass, and then he also from that short mid-range area, free throw line area through the lob. But it's like I think they overreacted, because to be honest, and again, especially now with J-Dub and AJ out, I'm not threatened if Caruso catches the ball at the free throw line. Like, we shouldn't be overreacting to him as a scorer from there.
Right,
especially if Wemby's if Wemby's the one right there where, that short a distance, Wemby can definitely handle that 2-on-1. He can take away the lob and kind of give up that little intermediate float shot or whatever it would be for Alex Caruso. Like, yeah, I'm living with that. And then we're going to rebound because he's going to miss that. Or if he does make it, kudos to him. And I also rather be giving up a 14-foot floater with the soft Wemby contest than a wide open corner three. That's just mathematically makes more sense. Also, like, if Dort is the one in the middle of the zone, I'm like, I'm living. We're not collapsing.
Dort will never be there. They win
that shit up, and we're gonna rebound. Like,
they win automatically.
Anybody besides like their only good short range consistent shooters right now would be Chet and SGA. And SGA's never going to be in the middle of the zone because he's going to be the ball handler. Yep. And then you probably in a zone would like to have Chet playing that that baseline dunker spot where he can try to, go up and kind of quick dunk and the shit that he does off the baseline. Now, maybe they do iHeart in the middle to get that little float off or something like that. But even then, that area of the court to me is still a tad further than he would like to be on those kind of shots. So I think they should try zone a little bit more and challenge these OKC role players offensively to make more decisions and make more shots than a swing pass and an open three. Like, they need to make them be more of a basketball player on the court.
Yeah, I mean, to that point, the other problem is that double big lineup is really winning minutes consistently for OKC because the Spurs just don't have that other big. You just can't play Wemby and
they need a good
together.
Four, man.
I mean,
there's no other way to say it to me.
And that hybrid player that I'm talking about, like the guy that can also play the 5 a little bit for stretches, so Wemby can actually sit down and breathe. Cornette's a fine regular season center. We've talked about it. The difference between a regular season player and a postseason player. A regular season, you don't really need a bag. You need one thing you can go to, and then you can play within a system
drop
and
coverage.
don't be dumb. And
Yeah.
you can be fine. Exactly. Now that they actually can take it away, or the team's just too athletic and too focused, now it's rough. So they need more size, because the other problem is iHeart's done a fantastic job bodying Wemby consistently. I mean, and the rest of the team has, but iHeart's obviously had the main assignment. Once Wemby's out of a possession for rebounding, it is a complete mad dash, and OKC is way too fine, literally boxing out and hitting everyone for a board. I will give the Spurs credit. They've returned the physicality better than I anticipated, but you're playing into their hands if it becomes like a mud match. OKC will win that every time.
I think that's one of the areas in which they've won this series. Like, obviously, we're up 2-1, but I think the Spurs are winning the loose balls, the second chance opportunities for the most part, and we won in game 3. Game 2, we won as well, but it was like we won by like a point or whatever. But I think that's one of the things that San Antonio is doing really well. For me, my biggest issue with them is in the second half, they can't score the ball.
Yeah, man.
Second halves, their offense completely goes kaput when it has like facing us. We really, really have given them trouble in every second half, but especially outside of the little flurry that like game 1 was its own issue, and we've adjusted, right? We're not seeing Smalls guard Wemby in any elevated capacity since then. We haven't seen it. And I think Chet and iHeart have done a really, really good job on Wemby. Even Jay Will in spurts. Obviously, he's not as well equipped as the other two are to guard Wemby. But more than anything, in the second halves, they can't score. They can't consistently create good looks either. That's the thing. Like,
It's harder for
the
him to
open
score.
shot,
Yeah.
the open shots are going to the players that we're living with that. He with us. Start the break. It's
Right.
always those players who are getting their open shots. And I think, yeah, man, as good as Castle is, a room to grow. You expect that for a second-year player. But it's like, for me, excuse me, even Wemby, like, yo, salute to the efficiency, salute to his game 1.
You need more
His
though.
impact has been nowhere near good enough in games 2 nor 3, and we've done a really, really good job of making him so much less impactful. And offensively, to Derek's point and real talk, and like all of you are gifted as well. Yes, I think defensively they're guarding in a manner in which it quote unquote makes things easier for our role players. But the other thing with our role players, man, they're so well equipped to do the things that they're being asked to do. Be decisive. We have been so decisive in this series. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I was watching, because I ain't gonna hold you, bro. This Cavs series has been so bad, bro.
I know. We got time to go back in and do film. Yeah, I know. I know.
So I went back and watched us in 2024 versus Dallas. And I mean, it is truly night and day in terms of just decisiveness. We're no longer thinking about, hey, is this actually the right thing to do? If I'm open, Kaysen is catching off that swing and he's pulling. I'm living with the result. I'm not hesitating. I'm not trying to be a computer up here and trying to process too many different things. My job has been simplified. If the closeout is there, I know to put the ball on the floor, and I don't have to be a hero. Put the ball on the floor. If there's room to get into the paint, I go do it. But if there isn't, I find the open man and kick it to him, and then create another advantage that way. And that's what all of our role players have done down the line. And I think, like, Real Talk was talking about potentially San Antonio making our role players have to make more decisions. And I think it could aid them because, like, in game 1, when we were put in that position, what did we end up doing? Kept kicking it to the corner. Harper had 7 steals. I swear 4 of them were in the corner off the same exact play. So those are things that could definitely aid the team. But I think more than anything, their offense in the second half, Mitch has got to figure out ways to get them consistent, even just quality looks. Because in these second halves, they're not getting quality looks. They are not, to Derek's point, being able to, I think, maintain the competitive fervor that they have early in the game, and that physicality, it starts to wane.
Yeah.
We're really built for, okay, if we have to play 48 minutes of physical basketball, we'll get through that 48 minutes. I think San Antonio is built to, again, like I said, get a good combination off, hit you with a good little haymaker, a good little jab, but that work rate in round 3 as opposed to round 9, totally different. Round 3, we might get 70 punches from you. Round 9, we get a cool 30.
Right.
And it got to be effective, because if they're not, then, curtains. But
Well, they're
really good
playing
team.
less guys because they're not as deep, and
As people said they
they're
were. Yeah.
running into like some of the same problems the Cavs are running into with versus the Knicks. Like the reason why OKC can keep a level of work rate up is because it's 9, 10 niggas playing. Like niggas get subbed out, and people are fresh, etc., etc. Also, to your not scoring point, I think part of the not scoring is because they're getting the ball out of the net a lot because niggas not missing. And so you have to play anybody that has to routinely play OKC's set defense, probably not going to score a
Probably
whole
not gonna score
bunch. I
like that.
mean,
Fair.
That's a really good
yeah,
point.
so
Really good
That's a good
point.
point
you
too.
need to force misses so you can rebound and then get out and not play against a set OKC defense over and over and over again, because that's not going to bode well for you.
And that goes back to what Wes just said with the biggest difference he's seen with what OKC does. Intent, the decisiveness. I think a huge player that fits that mold got to be Alex Caruso. Alex does not give a fuck. Like he is, listen, if I'm catching this ball in the corner and I'm wide open, I'm shooting the basketball. Or I'm like, he's even has some great plays where he just drives to the basket and goes even at Wemby and makes like he doesn't care. Another person that hasn't even been on the team a super long ass time, Jared McCain's decisiveness has been crazy. I'm pulling. I don't give a fuck. Like he's down to take 21 shots on the
Showing your
team. He just
nails is
joined.
crazy.
He on that though.
Hey man, we gotta support our brothers, man. We gotta support our brothers, man.
He's on that. He's on that. He's on that.
Gang.
No cap. No, listen. But like, it's funny because again, some OKC fans were kind of split on the McCain trade because normally Sam doesn't really make a move during the season and whatnot. And I think what McCain is currently providing for them is fearlessness to do whatever he needs to do and pull up shooting in the mid. Like he's been a mid-range guy more in this series than 3, but the fact that he's still shooting the wide open threes is why he's still a positive force offensively, which again is opening up more avenues for OKC to score the basketball. They have more players in roles. Prime example, Jalen Williams. Is he hesitating at all to shoot these threes? No, he's pulling. So it's putting more pressure on the Spurs defense because they're not having gaps in their decisions. The Spurs are. Part of that is their depth was kind of overstated. Part of that is the only guy that is playing with that I'm gonna shoot the ball regardless is probably Vassell, and that's because he can get his shot off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
Champagne is at least let it go. It's just not. It's not going to the bottom of the net, unfortunately.
I don't think he can get his shot off as much though.
Yeah, I mean, OKC's rushing him a tad bit, but
Yeah.
one reason I have picked the Spurs to win this series, and one of the reasons was because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Jared McCain was here to." Yeah, I know, Wes. I'm really against you.
Get your shit off, Wes. Yeah.
No, but one of the reasons I know that they got Jared McCain was to alleviate like some of the spacing problems that they were facing with San Antonio in the regular season matchups. What I thought would happen is that the guards for San Antonio would play Jared McCain off of the court.
And they haven't even hunted him.
They did in game 1,
A little bit.
much better than they've done in games 2 and 3. They have to get Jared McCain off the goddamn court by going at him relentless. Like Stephon
Yeah.
Castle, you love quarterback power. When Jared McCain is on you,
Go for
you
it.
need to be Cam at Auburn, nigga. You need to be straight ahead to the basket, hopefully get a foul on him, or like, yeah, y'all got to get Jared McCain off the court. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. They got to do a better job of hunting him.
I'm not
Because
mad at
Jared
that
McCain
point.
out there with Shea.
Crazy,
I mean, them
crazy
niggas
net
is-
rating when they together. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's wild.
Tonight will be interesting though, man, because if we don't have Dub, like AJ's already been ruled out. J Dub is a game time decision, air quotes.
Maybe some
If he
Kenrich.
does not play, definitely minutes from Kenrich, which is something I
Okay.
was calling for coming into the series. It's so unfortunate what's happened with him. He's a good basketball player who just rots on our team because
Yes.
it's like, and I think we need a size. That's one of the things that I've been saying. So, really tough spot to end up putting him in tonight if he does indeed, have to play. But you're pro for a reason. You get paid millions, so hopefully he's ready. But to the point, like, if there's no Dub, like, man, McCain he's everything. And to your point, Gifted,
Mm-hmm.
4 for 14, game 2, wildly impactful.
Wildly
His
impactful.
minutes were everything. Then you go like game 3, he shot well. He shot well from overall, but
I think 10 for
3,
21 from
2
the
for
field.
10. Yeah. And from 3, 2 for 10. But to your point, just no hesitate. I'm not even thinking about it. If I have any sliver of space, I'm shooting. And it creates it makes the Spurs, if you are that, because also he's a known shooter. So
Yeah.
for him to have such a quick trigger, the Spurs are always going to be scrambling. No matter how many he's making or missing, they see that and it's like,
As a
oh, that
process.
mental clock, it starts going
Yeah.
off in your head, and it's like, we got to get there, which actually helped him with his drives. A big part of how he kept getting inside is because when they had to rotate, it was like, oh my gosh, like anytime the ball was swinging to Jared, they really, really understood, oh, we got to try to get out there. Jared, obviously, good enough, strong enough with the ball. And the confidence in that mid-range shot is money. Like, that's one of the things that I've always said I preferred him over Isaiah Joe for. Like, there's some members of the fan base who swear up and down, like, nah, Joe's so, he's a much better defender and he can shoot threes. Joe's not nearly half as good of a shooter as Jared is.
It's the inside counters too. Like that
He-
mini
yeah,
pull up
he-
is valid for McCain. It just
And
it is.
that's what it is. I think you put them both in the gym, open threes. Yeah, Isaiah Joe will beat Jared McCain sometimes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you talk about having to counter and actually go other areas on the court, i.e. Rui Hachimura, shout out Real Talk, shout out the
Elite.
Lakers, being able to put the ball on the floor, 1 or 2 dribble pull up and cash, that's invaluable in the playoffs. Because again, a lot of times teams understand, even if we want to give you the 3-point ball, like that's a shot we'll give you, we want to run you off of that line as much as possible.
Exactly.
One thing we're definitely going to live with, you can take as many mid-range shots as you want. We don't want you to be butt naked like when you're taking them, but even if it's just a slight little, all right, I'm here contest, we'll take it because that's just obviously where the game is gone.
It's the 3 in the
And-
paint. They want to completely X out. So if you
Completely
excel
freak
at the
out.
pull up shot quickly, you can kill defenses.
Yeah.
Every year we see
So-
it too.
Yeah.
I'm actually starting to really, because the more and more I think about it, it's like the Spurs should never be the team that, oh, we're giving up open three. The Spurs game plan all the time should be, we're running people off the 3-point line.
You come to the rim. I agree with you.
And then you go to the basket. And then, hey, good luck dealing with that 9-foot nigga down there. I'm not giving up wide open threes. I'm saying, hey, Alex Caruso, we're gonna run you off the line,
You got to
and
come to the
then
paint.
hey, if you go make a play against Wemby, kudos to you. Case and Wallace, we're not giving you a wide open three. You're gonna have to run off the line, drive the basketball, and then do something with him up there. That's what they should be doing. This giving up wide open, hell no. They should be running them off the line all the time when Wemby's in the game consistently.
But again, this is where like you got to give their players credit, and I'm gonna go to, I think Derek after this, but it's like the not just the quick choices as well, but again, Jared McCain and Alex specifically are also killing them on the inside too. Like they're finding good shots in terms of layups. Like the twos have been the difference as well, and that cannot be supremely understated. Alex Caruso got to be like a Hall of Fame role player for me at this point. It's getting it's getting wild out there, but
I mean,
Yeah,
salute to us for making them.
oh yeah.
for making it. Shout out to his time in Chicago, like all defense, man.
Sure.
Yeah, there was a lot to there. I really agree. I think to the point about running off the line, I think tonight is the kind of game. It's a must win if you're San Antonio, so it's like that's the kind of game to do it. I think overall they don't do it constantly because they want to preserve Wemby a little bit. They also don't want him in foul trouble because the more opportunities you give for someone to go, line drive into Wemby, the higher the chances he's going to pick up a foul. If Wemby's in foul trouble, the game's over. Like there's just no one on the Spurs that can do hero ball to get you a game. So I think that's the main reason. POA, he said it about McCain. And I mean, the McCain secret sauce really is just movement. And I think with OKC, it's just put on great display because with SGA, like leading your offense, it can be slower. It could be methodical. He's going to work to get to a spot. You're going to get a good look, bucket. McCain is like the next dose of, and I think the stats back this up in the regular season. I don't know about the playoffs, but their OKC's second best action was iHeart and McCain pick and roll action, or at least a dribble handoff, because McCain just constantly moving, just having one big body to like get him free opens everybody up. And to Wes's point, that is the night and day difference. Is McCain has a handle, Isaiah Joe does not. That handle opens up the rest of his game. So even though he's short and can get swatted pretty nastily when he tries to get to the cup, he has somebody to go to. He's working on that floater, and we're seeing Jalen Brunson. I'm not comparing McCain to Brunson, but like you can get your game off being a small player and being a really lethal offensive player when you can work all three levels like that with confidence, and starts with your handle and just being willing to move. Just have good cardio, you have a chance. Yeah, I've mourned the McCain loss several times already this season. I did again after he dropped 20 in the conference finals. I'm happy for him ultimately. I have no grievance with McCain at all. Unfortunately, my franchise is run by criminals and delusional old men. I don't know what else to say. I'm happy McCain is in a great situation where he is supported and allowed to play his style of game. It's clearly working out for OKC, and I agree with Real Talk. You got to get him off the floor. You get him off the floor and force OKC to play normal brand for extended time. That's what opens the door for San Antonio to get another game and tie this back up.
Agreed. And I think Wes said something very important that ties into a super chat we just got from let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. I think it's from Malcolm. Spurs are unfortunately cooked. Wemby has to score 40 just for them to have a chance. This goes back into like I think the biggest difference between game 2 and 3. I'm not gonna say Wemby has to have 40. But the offensive force that he was in game 1, he's going to have to mimic more of that for them to have a chance.
Yeah, he's got to get free at iHeart somehow. I think I forget what game we were watching, but I said, like, I would just start putting Wemby, get away from the dunker spot and go to the nail. Like, just catch the ball a little higher, force iHeart to come out a little bit. I think operating in space will better suit Wemby. Maybe there's a few more foul calls on iHeart or Chet. You know, the grabbing is a little too obvious. You can't hide it as well. Maybe try that out. Because right under the basket, iHeart or anyone can put him in a bear hug or hold him, and he's screwed. And the refs are letting both sides play. We've seen that throughout the series. So get out in the open a little bit more. Maybe force the refs to blow a whistle, just to like settle yourself. Because I don't think Wemby is gonna go for 40 in this series again, and he probably ain't gonna average 30. But just free up the offense a little bit more. Force OKC to kind of bend, come to the middle a little bit, and then give your shooters a chance. That's all Wemby can do.
Yeah. One thing I want to say before I have to take off and deal with some family stuff. One thing I would say to that point, when Wemby does drive, especially on like Alhart, because I think Chet, he's driven on Chet. Chet can guard him. So it's a tough thing for him to get all the way to the paint. He tries to body Chet. He doesn't do a good job bodying Chet from the perimeter. I think he's better. He's more well equipped to body Chet if they're close to the basket because it's just not as much room. I just need ever so like just the most subtle of blows to get you off balance, and then I can go up for my shot and execute. When he's trying to do it from the 3-point line, it's like, no, I need more than that. I need a real advantage to be able to get around you or actually completely get through you. And I haven't seen him do that. But on iHeart, for sure, he's gotta. They really could benefit from some of the things we've done with Shea. I don't know how much they want to commit to that, but single side actions where we don't even care about the spacing. Y'all four go to that side of the court. Let Wemby operate over here. If there's an opportunity for someone to move and flash around, then you do it. But give him some space to operate. Let him see the court, see how the floors align, and see what he wants to do and how he wants to attack. And I think it would do wonders for him trying to get around iHeart. But again, man, as always, I'm grateful for you all. Sorry I got to cut it short today, but y'all know what's going on with me. But chat.
Absolutely, shout out to West.
Big game tonight, man. I hope y'all boys are locked in. Love.
Absolutely,
man.
Absolutely, much love to West right there for sure. His links and all of that stuff will be in the description box as well. But that does take us to, I guess, like, what are y'all picks for tonight? I had OKC in 6. I had them winning one of the first 2 games. I don't know.
I think I picked OKC in 5, sadly. Again, I think it's just the inexperience. Less counters the Spurs have. I hope I'm wrong. I'm more actively rooting for the Spurs. I feel like
By the way, it's like 200 people in stream right now. Hit that like button, chat. Need it, bro. It's like 49 likes. Get this shit up to 80, bro. Salute to y'all. I appreciate the love, but I need the likes from y'all. Please lock in, gang. Appreciate you.
Either way, I don't know. I don't know yet. I'm a game time decision. I feel like I'm leaning OKC here.
Woo!
The Spurs have to win this basketball game.
Or it's over.
If they want to win the series, at least. J-Dub's not playing. AJ's not playing. You got to win tonight. You're at home. You have to tie the series up at 2-2. I mean, you just have to.
I'm getting
just
a bad
like
feeling,
OKC.
man.
OKC just had to win game 2.
Yeah.
The Spurs have to win game 4. It just is what it is. You lose this game, you're done. Just that simple.
I'm getting a bad feeling. I have the Spurs tonight, but I'm telling you, OKC is a team that could very much get greedy, and I still don't think we've had like that. Holy shit, Shea is like the best player, period, bar none game yet in this series, and that's coming. Like that game is coming in this series at some point. And like he's been solid. He's played exactly how he needs to beat the defense. I think Shea's gonna have one of those games, and that could be tonight. I don't know.
I'm not sure. We're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know if we're for sure getting that Shea game. They are winning every way possible. I don't think they're going to force it either. I don't think they're going to get greedy this close to the finals.
I mean, if he starts getting like more one-on-one coverages, we'll see if he can, he might
Right.
could do it then. But like, we need to have the Wemby game. He needs to.
That game has to come
We had
again.
a
Yeah,
game one.
agreed.
He's just gonna have to be more of a dominant player in game four. I mean, to be fair to him, even in games 2 and 3, they have won his minutes while he's on the court. Like they've beat OKC while he's on the court.
He's been a plus
Right.
every
But
game.
yeah, he needs to be a dominating force in this game on both sides of the court. Offensively, he needs to be better than the previous 2 games. Now, what does he do to do that? I don't know if we're at a point in Wemby's career where he can. There's no, and people have been talking about this. We've been talking about this the whole season, but like, what is the area of the court Wemby goes to, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, definitely getting a good offense possession this possession. I mean, obviously, if you hit him, for a lob or somewhere deep seal and stuff like that. But I'm saying, like, to generate that look, where is it that he goes to where it's for sure good offense? Is it a mid post touch? Is it a low post touch? Is it him isoing at the top of the key?
It should be the right elbow. It should be the right
Yeah.
elbow. If I
Yeah.
was the coach, I would tell him this needs to become the spot you master, because he likes the one-legged, runners, the turn and fade from that side. He obviously, it's a strong hand, so that first dribble, get that first touch, but then you can spin back towards the middle for more space and playmaking. That is the spot he should master.
He's had some shots where it's like you're seeing the glimpses of what he will be as a player, where it's like, how do you guard that? He just doesn't have a high enough diet of those midi fades and whatnot. But there's moments where it's like that is equivalent to like a KD pull up, damn near. Like I like the percentage of what I think that could be. I've been saying this for like a long time. I don't need him to train with Embiid or like Crawford or these other players. I need him to go talk to Kareem and get that sky hook. Cause dead ass, like, I'm not even trolling. At that size with that length, that would be very effective offense if he could just quickly hook the ball. I really do
Ain't
believe
nobody
it.
doing the sky hooks no more, man. This shit don't look cool enough.
Man, come on, real talk.
But
We not about cool.
Wemby
We trying to
doesn't.
win.
Wemby was a Shaolin monk. He don't care about cool. He shaved his head for
Wemby for
no
sure.
earthly reason. He's
He
the
into
Wemby
type.
that.
for sure cares about cool. That's why he made sure everybody knew he went to hang out with the Shiloh monks.
Maybe. I don't know, man. I think Wemby would be the type to try and bring it back. But yeah, he needs to get in the lab to find those moves.
Wemby like the bink, 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 and all that kind of shit. He needs to.
do like
I
that.
think he should be. He's dark. He needs to be dark. He needs to be able to do that, because I don't ever think he's probably going to be strong enough to consistently get like deep seals and stuff against real centers, because his center of gravity is just so high, and so like
Yeah.
I think like an Isaiah Hardenstein type archetype of big to me will probably always give him some fits from a physicality standpoint. He's 7'4". Like, he can't change anything about that. Him getting stronger doesn't create better leverage for him. It just is what it is. He's way up there. People are down here. They'll be able to push him out with the leverage. But hold his position 15, 17 feet away from the basket,
Valid.
and be strong enough to stay on balance to get up quality jumpers from that area that really aren't being contested because he's way up there. It's like if he could hit that at a 50% clip, now we're talking about something. Now we have a real option to go to. And now you can, because you can hit that shot, now you can pump fake, maybe get him in the air off balance. Now you can put the ball on the floor. And, for him, it's going to be one dribble at one step. Now he's dunking it. So It's like, yeah, he needs to me, getting that Dirk bag and build from there.
Whew. I think regardless if they win or lose series again, I did have Oklahoma City in this series because I just think they were the deeper team, and I thought defensively they would be able to stop what their guards were trying to get off. And it's funny because Harper hasn't really been efficient in the series. It's just the shots he's made are like, wow, he's a rookie, crazy shot. But like game one, I believe he shot 8 for 20. He missed game two. And then game three, he had a lot of mid-range baseline jumpers that just didn't fall. I just think OKC's counters with both a defense and then also them just being the better shooting team right now is what is giving the Spurs problems. And again, if they don't win tonight, if that shooting variance does not regress for OKC, you are probably cooked for the series and you will not be going to the finals. But again, like Derek said, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. If they lose in the conference finals, that is not a failure for their season in any way to me.
Not at all.
No, not at all.
Getting to the second round and having a 60-win season, that was already the goals were met. We are on a great trajectory. We had like a rookie of the year campaign. Had it been like any other rookie season, we've got good young players. It looks like I have possibly the best player in the world. We're chilling. I think everything else is just vibes.
Yeah. Then that's going to be the next step in Dylan Harper's game, though, is he has no kind of pull-up shooting game in his bag right now whatsoever. He's either having to get all the way to the basket and he can hit a set three.
Yeah.
That's it. He has no pull-up game and pick and roll from three. No pull-up game in isolation. When he does create space to shoot a pull-up midi, he doesn't hit those shots. Just doesn't. So it's going to be the next evolution of growth for that young man. One of the rarities, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. Lefties usually can shoot. It's usually the thing. But I'm sure he'll get there. He'll get there with some time.
Yeah, I'm not too concerned about like catch and shoot stuff. The self creation might take a little bit longer, but he's got the mechanics down. I'm not too worried.
I do have to ask y'all, how many turnovers is Castle going to have in this game?
I'm gonna say
Fox playing.
I'm gonna say 6.
I think Castle has to be on ball more because that's when he was the most efficient at scoring the basketball. Ironically, it's just when he does that, you're gonna get, I think, more turnovers off of that. So
yeah, I don't think it'll be 10. I think it'll genuinely be 6 because I think he's gonna be on ball a little bit, and that's gonna they'll pressure him.
There's a world where Stephon Castle is the newer generation's Russell Westbrook, where it's like phenomenal player. There's so many positives that he provides you, but man, does he do some boneheaded shit up there on the court. And 11 turnovers is part of that. I really do. I think he's peak him. He's a Russell Westbrook variant. It's kind of what I see from Stephon Castle. But again, really good player. Not going to win an MVP because, obviously his teammate. But, yeah. I would say tonight, I'll go 5.
You gonna go 5? Okay.
That's a low number.
That's the low. That's a low.
I mean, he had one turnover last game. I think he's watched the film. I think he's had inner conversations with Greg Popovich in that film room as well. I'm going to go 4, and I think he has an explosive scoring game tonight. I think he gets back to what he was more so looking like in game 2 with less turnovers, in my opinion. I do think. Also, I think with AJ being out and J-Dub, I think this could be the OKC turnover game, which we know Castle loves to be out there in transition if he can be. So I think that'll also, play a role. I think he also is gonna probably get to the free throw line more as well, too. So I think that's
It's
my
going to
take
be
on.
interesting to see OKC's offense and their process today with SG on the bench with no AJ and no J Dub.
A lot of Alex
Like,
Yeah.
probably.
it's going to be a lot of, hey, Jerry McCain, run around with your head on fire while Isaiah Hardenstein gives you a dribble handoff over and over and over again. And hopefully that can create something. I'm guessing is going to be the answer.
They're gonna spam that a lot. Yeah.
Spurs, if they want to win today, have to dominate the non-Shea minutes.
Yeah.
Not just win them, dominate them. They have to be a plus 20 when SGA is on the bench for 8 minutes. I know it's tough, but gonna have to get it done.
So literally, it's non-Wemby minutes versus non-Shea minutes, and then who wins that margin?
Always was.
Shit, the
Yeah.
Spurs might still lose that. I don't know. Oh man, that's tough. I don't know. But yeah. We'll keep an eye out on all of these players. Also, this could be another valid case in Wilder's game in terms of the deflections. We'll see how all of these things pan out. But yeah, all in all, that is the playoff overall coverage so far in this round. I can't wait to see what the finals are. You know what I'm saying? Because we haven't seen a team blow a 3-0 lead yet. It's gonna happen one of these times. Could be this year.
Yeah, not happening.
Maybe I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Not
Yeah.
happening.
No. Well, in closing, I appreciate Real Talk, Derek and Wes for coming through for another episode of The Locker Room. It's been a while since our last EP. I think we covered a ton of things. I think the offseason is going to be super fun because then we get a chance to like live react to trades and things officially being all the way shifted. Also, I can't wait for our next EP because I think by that point we'll have the all NBA teams out, which will be really fun to see how that
True.
shaped up. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Barnes not being first team on defense, but being like I think top 4 or 5 in DPOI doesn't make much sense to me, and I'm assuming more of that will probably continue. I think when those teams all the way come out, so that should be fun. I'm gonna pass it to Derek for his closing statements for this EP of The Locker Room, which is our 9th episode so far.
Yeah, I mean, W episode once again. Enjoy playoff basketball. We're almost already at the finals. It's already almost over. Because believe me, as fun as off-season talks can get, they get so nasty so quick and get wildly speculative and just nonsensical. And we're gonna have fun with that. But enjoy the hoops while they're here. And yeah, of course, shout out to the other 3 co-hosts for coming through. This is Memorial Day weekend, so we could be out partying, but we're here talking hoops and having a good time. So very nice.
Absolutely. And I will now pass the microphone to Real Talk. How you doing, brother?
Good. Another great episode. To Derek's point, it does get nasty. I don't want to have another round of, old former McGrady would have won the championships. Like
Yeah.
I'm good. That's why I'll be pivoting to the W. I just be watching the W.
There you
Oh
go.
God, yes. I would
Yeah.
do the W off season
I'm
2.
not going to be doing another round of, why, whatever the case may be. Oh, get the good old Darren Williams shout every offseason as well. He pops up for whatever
Was he really
reason.
better than Chris Paul?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm good on that, man. So yeah, but great episode. Enjoying the playoffs. To Derek's point, also, it is kind of bittersweet because it does mean the season is about to be over. And there won't be any NBA games playing for like 4 months or something like that. So that's sad, right? That's saddening, but great Western Conference Finals that we're seeing thus far, and I think we are going to get a great finals, though. No matter who
I think the
wins
finals would be
the
good.
West,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
the finals are going to be really good. So, yeah, great episode again, and let's keep enjoying playoff basketball.
I co-sign that statement again. Tap into everyone and their socials. I'm pretty sure Derek will be doing something again with not just dribble in this offseason. So stay tuned, stay attached to the Philadelphia Tears when that comes out. In terms of here, appreciate the support on the channel. We have been streaming pretty much every single day. It's been very, very hard. I've had PTO. PTO is cooked, so that shit will be slowing down very soon. But hit the like button. I appreciate everyone tapping in, and I will.
You did that wrong. You did that wrong.
What?
By the way, you should have been going to work on the Eastern Conference Finals games and saving that PTO for later on.
See, look,
Salute to
right.
y'all for wanting to stream those games. I haven't been streaming those games. Yeah,
That's the problem, real talk, right? I don't have that choice because they force you at the beginning of the year to choose the date. So I didn't even know who would be playing in the playoffs when I chose my time. So they got me. You know what I'm saying? But we try. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been like, yeah, I'll come to work. No,
I'll be there. I'll see you early.
I'll be here.
Yo, I can't lie, bro. Like seeing these games, I'm like, I could have worked today and been cool. I would have been okay with that for sure. But we'll learn from this, hopefully for next year. It's just hard because like we don't even have the schedule. I just have to say, okay, July is when the playoffs are gonna be here, so I'll have this week off, but tough. Don't run when the Spurs win in 6. By the time we do the next Locker Room EP, the finals will be set. We might actually be in the middle of the finals. I'm not sure, but yeah. All I'm gonna say is hit the like button if you want to tap into the live streams that we do on the channel that are available in Discord. Become a member of the channel. Hit that join button. And we'll catch y'all in the next one. I'm pretty sure Real Talk should be live as well tonight for the Spurs OKC game. So that should be pretty fun. So yeah, tap in with us. And again, appreciate basketball, like Darius said, because this shit is about to leave us. It's about to be a whole bunch of, I think, football stuff. Tap into W. It's been pretty fun so far. I have not been superly tapped in because of the playoffs right now, but I will be pivoting as well to the W in the offseason. So I appreciate you guys.
My two agendas are already thriving.
Channing Carter, let's talk about it. Channing Carter filling up that
Channing Carter is amazing, and Olivia Miles. Oh man, Olivia Miles is the 1, the 2, and the 3. Man, I don't know how she didn't go number 1 in the draft. Fucking ridiculous.
We know why.
Politics, man.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy. And Asia Wilson
still really
best player on the planet. Yeah.
Best player on the planet, man. So yeah, it'll be fun to see how those playoffs also solve themselves. But we're gonna end the stream here. Again, all of their links will be in the description box below. Appreciate you guys, and we'll be live later for the game 4. The broadcast is actually created right now. So if you care, go tune into that one tonight. But peace out, y'all. Have a great one. Salute to you.